What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of no longer the pre-show. Now the pre-show is the show, just like everybody, I guess, always wanted, and they peer pressured us into changing our format. No, just kidding. So now it's all just one big happy family here, right?
Yes, it
So it's
is.
all
Yes,
just
it
one
is.
show here. It's getting recorded live on Anchor, where we host and record our show, and you can always go there and listen to it there, or Spotify, or anywhere else. But we also got it here on Facebook
Yeah.
Live.
So I checked it out. We're like on iHeart. We're on Amazon. You got us on
Oh,
Amazon.
nice.
Pandora, Podcast Addicts, Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor, Spotify, wherever it's easier for you. iTunes, wherever it's easy. So,
You let us know where you want to
hmm
listen, and we're going to be there. Guys, in case you didn't know, this is the Just Another Friday Night podcast. I am CM Chuck. This is Double A, Adamantium Adam. Guys,
our
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, our first episode of the new
The first
year.
episode of the new year. We're more than happy to be here.
Yeah.
Uh, 2020 is over, Double
It's
A.
over. It's done.
It's done. It's in the history books. Man, what a bruiser. You know what? Some good things did come out of 2020, right? One thing I could think of is Just Another Friday Night. Your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast.
It's been very therapeutic for me. I've told CM that so many times already. It's been great. It's for me. Kind of take my mind off this whole pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
It's been great just kind of chatting with you guys again, kind of reconnecting with old people again. Being with you Friday,
Yeah.
talking about
Totally,
subjects that we
man.
love.
How
You
many
know,
times have we said, I can't wait till Friday. I'm
yeah,
ready for Friday. Today we said it. Last week, guys, already it seems like ages ago since
it
we last
does.
sat
Yeah,
and talked with you guys,
yeah.
because it was Christmas Eve, pretty
hmm
much, pretty the day before Christmas Eve. In fact, we sat down with superstar comic book store owner Mario Delgado, and we had a great episode with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Man,
That was fun.
so
That
much
was fun.
fun, so informative, so much to
Very
learn.
educational. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
guys, we can do a series of shows with Mario Delgado, and if
yeah.
you want that, let us know. We would love to talk with
Yeah,
them again.
I mean, it wasn't just comics. It was like how to run a business, how to treat customers right.
Right.
How to deal with certain unruly customers.
Yeah.
How to haggle, how to deal, how to negotiate.
Surviving
Yes.
multiple
Yeah.
recessions, a small business
Yeah.
in a niche market,
Yeah.
of comic books and collectibles, and it's like having to trim away,
hmm
starting with toys and sports cards and everything, and
Yeah.
whittling it down to
Yeah.
just books.
Just comics. Yeah.
And but maintaining for
hmm
25 years, Double A, can you believe
Evolving
that?
and
Yeah.
changing with the business as it went along, and he's doing a damn great job with it. So great. He might just start retiring after next year and stick to online.
Heartbreaking, but
Very heartbreaking. Very,
you
very
know,
heartbreaking.
if you saw our last episode, I threw my name in the ring to be the next owner of the comic shop out there at Traders Village. I don't know. Who knows, guys? Stranger things have happened, right? It's 2021.
Stranger Things.
So, um, what else, Double A? Anything in the news adrenalized me, man.
Oh, for us,
You know,
wrestling wise,
right, right.
Brody Lee, if you know him from AEW, or Luke Harper, if you know him from the WWE
WWE.
with the Wyatts, he passed away just suddenly.
Yeah,
41
42,
years,
40,
41 years old,
42 years
41 years old.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so man, Double A, this one struck me just because it was unexpected, but also because Brody Lee, I feel like the way that it was received by people was very similar to the Chadwick
Yeah,
Boseman thing.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was like, 2020 started with Chadwick, Boseman, not started with, but it was like that happened
Yeah.
in 2020, and it was like people were shocked. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Young guy, nobody
He had
knew.
been off air, but people assumed it was just part of like maybe a storyline or
Right,
something. But he had
right.
been off TV for a good while, and everyone's like, "Where the hell is Brody Lee at?" So
Yeah. Now here's a guy too, Kat, that I didn't really think about it till after he passed, but I was like, I always appreciated his in-ring work.
Mhm.
I'd heard him on podcasting. He's a great speaking voice.
Well, I
You
love
know,
the Wyatts. I
yeah.
love that group.
Mhm.
It sucks that they broke him up, and when them and the Shield went, face to face, you actually felt that electricity that you really don't feel too much in wrestling anymore. But
Right.
when them two got in the ring, those two factions,
Definitely.
the Wyatts and the Shield, man,
Yeah.
it's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Seth Rollins actually, it was one of the people that wrote something that was really long and heartfelt that I actually read my whole way
Okay,
through. It was
okay.
really nice. He even
Yeah, I
went
mean,
to far as going, they had beef behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but that it was, because man, it was, he said that he loved that it was such a, a heated, passionate relationship, and he was like, it broke his heart that they wouldn't get to work together ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. So many people just posted. I mean, so many people, floods of wrestlers, just nothing but good things to say about the dude.
That was the other thing that was very similar to Chadwick Boseman, was that it was like universally loved, right? Like, nobody had anything bad to say.
Yeah.
So I mean, very sad about the passing of.
And it was exciting when he went to AEW. You know, it was very exciting. It was like cool,
because you thought he was going to get a big push and be used in the right way, and he did. Yeah. I got to say this, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, Double A, but I felt like if somebody were going to be able to really, I feel like they've tried to kind of push Bray Wyatt into like who will be the next Undertaker or whatever, but I really feel like Brody Lee had the skills to do that, the big manness and the athleticism, because the way he could move, man, it was like, man, it was great guy doing topes through the middle of the ropes, and it was like, I mean, just intimidating. Yeah,
he was very intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, all the people would refer to him as Bruiser Brody. They would compare them. Your brother would often say
too,
that.
Right? Brody Lee.
Brody Lee. I mean, for sure. Probably definitely inspired by that. So very sad about his passing. Our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to the family and all the fans. Man, it sucks if you never really got to watch him. Go back and look at his work. Incredible wrestler. Really, really awesome. So
another favorite of mine too died like on either New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's was Dawn Wells. Marianne from Gilligan's Island. She was an old lady already. She was 82, but she died from COVID, and that's what fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, she had to suffer through COVID too. You know,
I just said when I saw that news, I think I put it in the Friday Night Faithful, our Facebook group, and I just said, "Man, 2020 is taking it to the last line,
last day."
Gets, and 82 is old. That's a long life, but
why COVID though? Why
died
from fucking COVID?
Yeah, maybe she could have had a few more years, whatever. So, guys, we appreciate everyone that's joining on the live and you're commenting right now, guys. Don't forget, we're kind of in a new format now, so I'm gonna read through your comments at our 30-minute break. We're gonna read through them. Yeah, keep piling them in. We're gonna read through everything. We're going to wish everyone a Happy New Year. We're really happy that you're here watching us. Like, we know we're on a little bit earlier than normal. But we're both off today, so it was like, hey, let's get in a podcast. You're getting a lot of natural sunlight in on us. So,
another big thing today, CM Cobra Kai.
That's right. That's right. It's back, man. At midnight, I think it dropped.
Yeah, it did.
I know your wife and daughter are binging.
Yeah, so I was able to get to see the first 5 before we did this, so I was able to see the first 5, and I know they're going to want to see it again tomorrow, so we'll probably watch it again tomorrow.
Definitely a show with rewatchability.
Oh,
so
very.
My dad
the first 5 episodes are already great, Tim.
Okay,
you're going to really enjoy them.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to
it. They're fantastic.
No spoilers, guys. Please.
No spoilers.
I'm going to get on it.
Great.
Really
First
soon.
5 episodes. I mean, I was hooked already. I was like, nah, Lee, now I'm gonna have to wait another year for season 4. It's like, Lee, I've only seen 5 episodes.
He didn't want a podcast. See, this guy's too busy wanting to watch TV here. Yeah, my dad's binging right now, and my mom are binging right now, like as we speak. They're like, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go Facebook Live. They're like, we don't care about you.
Everybody watching Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone also
I know,
marathon
all day,
always.
Yeah. What are your favorite episodes, Double
A? The Obsolete Man. It's with Burgess Meredith.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah. With the glasses.
Yes. No. Where he's there's like a dictator and he's being caught obsolete. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely, I do. Remember
it's a really good episode. It's coming out tonight. Maybe you'll get a chance to check it out.
I'll check it out.
Burgess Meredith is always top notch.
Let me tell you though, sometimes it's like when I go on a break from cable and I'm just watching Netflix. I like to fall asleep to like black and white TV, so I'll put that on Netflix and I'll watch that. So that's another little bit of news, guys. If you're fans of The Office, we're both fans of The Office. The Office is leaving Netflix today. It's gone. Yeah. So it was trending last night because people love The Office, and now can't watch The Office on Netflix anymore. So that sucks.
Real quick, one of my favorite New Year's traditions is actually eating your mom's menudo, which I'm about to get some today.
That's right.
And watching Twilight Zone. That is one of my favorite fucking things to do.
It's going to be a hell of a night. Yes, there you go.
My Tia makes excellent menudo.
To see that, Mom, compliments
right here. Very picky on my menudo.
I don't eat menudo. So
I'm very picky on it because if you have a bad batch, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, you can have my share for sure because that's not me. She also made roast for the non menudo eating. Me and my nephew and my dad don't eat menudo, so we had Christmas roost instead.
Terrible.
Yeah, Double A. Anything else in the world of news? Or comics
so HBO Max is blowing up. Obviously Wonder Woman debuted on Christmas Day. Some so-so reviews. Some people are criticizing, the CGI.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's not as good as the first one.
You haven't caught it yet, right?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
But I was not expecting these kind of mixed reviews.
Yeah. So I had two kind of half-hearted viewings, only not because of the movie, but because I was tired. And, so I haven't really given it a full sit through that it deserves. But from what I did see, I can definitely see where that criticism came from.
Golly.
I could see that with the CGI, and I could see that with some of the acting, but I'm not really sure what the director with Patty Jenkins was going for. Maybe that was meant to be there, like kind of an 80s cheesy vibe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There's definitely some questionable choices made in it. From what I did see, I did not think that it was as good as the first one. But it's I think what it had to do with Double A is it's a very convoluted plot. It had a plot similar to what's the Bond one we talk about with the news mogul, where we're like,
Tomorrow Never Dies.
yeah, where we're like that plot is kind of like not that great. I think that's what's going on. It's almost like what's really going on here, and then it's like you're only as good as your villains, and
and then I heard Kristen Wiig was kind of like some people are saying that she was great as Cheetah.
Yeah,
some people are saying she wasn't, or they didn't use her to her full potential.
I would say that from what I saw. Again, I need a full. I don't
that's
want
the only
judge.
villain I really know from Wonder Woman. That's like her only really main villain. So
yeah. And then you've got the man himself, Pedro Pascal, in there as Maxwell Lord.
Yes.
And that name I have heard, and
he's a big DC name.
But again, I don't know if we got really everything we needed to out of that in this incarnation. So if you saw it, let us know what you think. Again,
let us know.
Keep it spoiler free if you can until we both get a chance to fully sit down and watch it. And if you want us to talk about it, we certainly will.
And then Friday Night member Joe put that Batman, the whole animated series, is on HBO Max too. I was like, yes. Now I just need them to do Superman.
Yeah, I know.
Really love that cartoon.
Those are great. Those are definitely great. I can't wait to sit now and get to watch some Batman the Animated Series episodes. Do you have any favorites to stick out? Oh
man, the Riddler ones. I love the Riddler ones. The Scarecrow ones. My favorite episode is probably the Mr. Freeze one.
Yeah, Heart of Ice.
Yeah. But I mean, the Clayface ones are good.
I also love the ones with the ninja, where he's up against the ninja. Those are some of my favorite. But shoot, the Gray Ghost.
Yeah, the Gray Ghost one is great.
How about the one where I think it's the villain in that one is the Mad Hatter.
Yes.
Where Bruce wakes up and his parents are alive.
Yeah,
and
he's in the dream machine.
Yeah. And you're like, and he has to figure it out. That's like a real detective vibe one. The
when he's reading.
Yeah, he can't read.
Yeah.
And he's like telling him, and he's like, I gave you everything you wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, that shit is
hard.
deep, man.
Yeah, that's hard.
Tiger is a great episode.
Yes.
That show is filled
Robin's
with fantastic
Reckoning. Those are good too.
Yeah, man, really great, guys. Batman the Animated Series, check it out.
I was happy when Joe put that up. So.
Yeah, great news. Thank you for that, Joe. Let's see what else here.
Remember, we're trying to make our Friday Night Friday Night Faithful, the Wizard. The Wizard of
that's right,
groups.
Guys. Yeah, we're trying to be
the
Wizard.
On the news. Yeah,
the Wizard magazine in the old days was everywhere you went for comic book, movie news,
suggested readings.
Yeah,
new stuff coming out,
casting
new
calls. Who do you want to see? You know what I mean? Sci-fi, Star Wars, TV shows, stuff like that. Stuff coming out. They were always breaking the good news, and that's what we're trying to do here at Just Another Friday.
That's our
goal.
We
want to be the podcast version of the old Wizard magazine. And there's a Twitter you follow that it's all about Wizard magazine.
Yes,
right? Yes, that's cool. Do they have a show? They probably have a podcast.
They do have a podcast show. I haven't heard it, but I mean, it's everything Wizard.
Yeah,
so,
they go like through the old issues and stuff like that. I've got literally a stack.
Even
of
like
these.
cool like the artist drawings, like the hot new young artists at the time. They got stuff from like Jim Lee. Awesome. He did stuff for Wizard. The first Wizard cover was done by Todd McFarlane.
That's right.
The Spider-Man.
That's right. Yeah, that's very cool. I have an issue in there where I have it. I have the page marked. I think I've got to go dig it out. Where it's the first time you see Jim Lee's version of what he would like to see Superman drawn as.
It's funny because I actually.
There you go. There's an issue right
This is the one I actually go through a lot. So.
What issue is that? 100?
It's like their 200.
Oh, they're 200.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
very cool right there. You got the Marvel guys on the front. We love Wizard Magazine, so this very cool, guys. And again, like I said, we're trying to be your one-stop shop for all that news and information that you don't have or might have been
missing.
And
any Friday Night members, just put up if you see something cool, put it up.
Yeah, we love that stuff, man. Put it on our page, our Facebook page, Just Another Friday Night, or put it on our Facebook group if you're not a member. We just added some new members recently to the Friday Night Faithful. Guys, remember, you are a Friday Nighter and one of the Friday Night Faithful if you are in the group and one of our fans. So we appreciate you guys. Double A, anything else? Should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. But what did you get us today?
To drink?
Yeah.
We are drinking some Shiner Bock. If you drink Shiner's from Texas. I've never been. You've been to the brewery, right?
No.
No.
Well, we've had Friday night members Yelly and Mario. I think they went with my brother.
Yeah,
to the brewery.
Friday Nighter Crystal, I think,
yes.
too. So, it is the labels are different, but it's the same beer.
Oh, okay.
It's I think it's like a Fiesta Cerveza de Verano, Mexican style lager brewed with agave. So I had a little bit yesterday for New Year's Eve, and it was pretty good. And I drank some champagne too. We're gonna pour it into these really cool glasses that you got Double A from.
Great Grace and Creations.
There we go. Okay, cool. All right, and mine has a little Darth Vader on it. And yours says...
Mine has Star Wars with the Vader helmet.
Happy New Year. Welcome 2021. We're happy to have you. Our first show of the new year.
Ooh, that's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad,
wow,
right?
Nice.
Yeah, I drank a few of these last night. Then we had some nice champagne, too. Did you drink some champagne last night?
No, I didn't.
No?
Strict to beer.
Strict to beer, huh? Doesn't matter what you toast with as long as you toast.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So don't forget, please keep commenting at the 30-minute mark. Every 30 minutes, guys, as long as the show goes for every 30 minutes, we're going to take a break. We're going to let our podcasting app process. And that's when we're going to take time to read through your comments, answer your questions, discuss anything you want to talk about. Do you have questions about last week's show? Tell us what you thought about it. Did you like, our interview with Mario? Did you enjoy it? Did you wish it was the Mario show and that we both just kicked rocks? We can do that too. I mean, I watched that show. You know what I mean? You don't really need us. Mario was doing it all on his own there, man.
You trying to ruin my 2021?
Yeah, guys. So with that being said, Double A, should we get right into it?
Yeah. So I mean, all of you know we are huge Star Wars fans, and when any news comes out, any show, we fall in love with it right away. And that's what happened with the Mandalorian. And if you go back to our season 1, we talked about the Mandalorian like episode 3. So we kind of wanted to do it now. I think it's been about enough time. I think everyone should have seen it by now.
If you're a fan of the Mandalorian,
you should have seen it.
You're probably on like your third or fourth viewing, like we are. So you should be done. So guys, this is a spoiler-laden episode.
Yeah, I mean, you
all
see
the spoilers.
CM's cool shirt.
Yes, and this is from Alexandria's Sweet Treats and Creations.
Mando.
This is a custom that I designed and she made happen, and it is very cool. Yeah. And I got my Beskar helmet there.
I'm wearing my Jedi Knights football jersey.
And on the back here, it says Skywalker and the year 77, so it's very cool. See if you can get it in there. We'll see if you get... Yep, there you go. Okay, right there. There you go. So, yeah, guys, today is all about...
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian Season 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the way. Double A, where do we start? We were first off, geeked out.
Yeah, so first off, like, I had loved Season 1, but Season 2, I think, just blew all of Season 1 away. You got deeper into Mando. You got deeper into the child, which we found out its name was Grogu. Okay? And it's Grogu. No more the child, no more Baby Yoda.
No more Baby Yoda. Okay? I mean, it's still be called... people are still going to call him Baby Yoda. It's fine, but he does have a name. His name is Grogu. I think it's pretty cool. Some people didn't like it, but I was like, what name were you going to give him that you would like?
Yeah, Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda. Yado.
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 Yeah.
Guys, it's an alien. It's an unidentified species, so its name is Grogu. It's cool. And
I mean, they just introduced so much more Star Wars lore into this whole season. It was just fantastic. Names that you never thought you were going to hear again because they said everything was non-canon, and it became, they started throwing all those names from those non-canons out.
Right. How about if you were a super fan of the Clone Wars cartoon and Rebels?
Man.
Boy, did you get a treat. Guys, the show The Mandalorian got me to go back, because, I love Star Wars, but I just never had a lot of time to invest in watching all of the Clone Wars, and I know some people are going to call me not a fan now and say, yeah, you said you're a big fan, but, I mean, it's just... I remember watching the movie when it first came out, in the animated movie.
Which everyone said was bad.
Yeah, and
just,
I did not get off to the
yeah.
Ahsoka character. I was like, okay, I don't. It seems like this is going to be for kids. So I thought that that's right where the show was going. I keep noticing I keep shaking the shit out of the table. So sorry guys, you see the camera moving around. It's because I'm leaning on the table. But anyway, yeah. So once I had that impression, I wasn't going to really invest. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be Star Wars for like littler kids.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I was like, that's there for them, and that'll introduce them into the movies. But the movies are still for us or whatever. Then plus, when you get something like Rogue One, it's like it's really hard to go and watch, the Clone Wars, that first movie because it's like you've got a baby Jabba, and she calls him Sky Guy. It's not in my opinion, not the shiningest moment of Star Wars. But again, I could see little kids liking that, so that's fine because I'm all about bringing in a new audience. All right, well now the Mandalorian season 2 is like it's for everybody. I think
yes, it is.
Anybody, because my nephew watched the whole season 2. And he hasn't seen season 1 because he really got more big into Grogu, Baby Yoda. And he was totally fine with the name too. He's like, oh, it's cool. He says now he has he tells me, he goes, oh, he has like 3 names. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah. So, and I had to, explain to him how it's not, Yoda. Yoda is Yoda, and then this is, but they're the same species, et cetera, et cetera.
And you know what? This season seemed to answer like a lot of questions too. I mean, just about who is where is what. We kind of find out that, Boba Fett, who does come out later, is not a Mandalorian.
Right.
Like a true Mandalorian. He is not. Obviously, all that stuff is from his father, Django.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow. That was kind of like a revelation. Like, okay, shit. So he.
And that's like right out the gate, right? Season 2, episode 1. You get Mando and the child, still the child at the time. We still don't have his name until I think episode 4.
Yeah.
But ends up back at Tatooine, and he's of course on this mission to get the child to someone like his own. Yeah, to a Jedi. So he says he needs to find people like him, other Mandalorians that can direct him. So he goes and he ends up back on Tatooine. He's like, okay, I was at Tatooine. There's never been any Mandalorians there. Why are you sending me here? Whoever. He goes, and sure enough, he encounters a guy that looks like him in Mandalorian armor that we all recognize very clearly as the Boba Fett armor.
Yeah, which it's like not even like damaged.
Right.
It's scratched up.
It's scratched up. It's definitely
not damaged.
Worse for wear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not in that bad a shape. So we see that right away, and we're like, "Oh shit! Like this is Boba Fett. Like what the hell? Like last time we saw Boba Fett,
he was getting eaten.
He was getting knocked into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi by a blinded Han Solo. He goes into the Sarlacc pit, and we think that that's him. I think he even screams. It's like a scream, I think, right? So it's kind of like, oh shit.
Yes, they did. Yes.
So that's it, right? But this guy has huge fan following. People love Boba Fett. Now, are you a Boba Fett guy?
I never was.
I was never a Boba Fett guy. Never got into it.
I like the look. But was never
cool looking costume.
Yeah, I just didn't think there was enough for me to be like, oh, Boba Fett.
Right. I wasn't hunting down Boba Fett side stories. It was like for me, like, he was a bounty hunter, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm with the kind of in the main vein characters, or whatever. And I thought he looked cool, but that was it.
Yeah.
So anyway, here walks in this guy, very Western saloon style,
very
right?
Western.
Double A,
yes.
and goes right ahead and takes off the helmet, and you're like, okay, right away we know that from season 1. Mando he's not down with that shit.
No.
He's like, why are you taking off your helmet? You're not Mandalorian. He's like, no, but I got this armor from some Jawas, and then he's like, you need to give it up to me. Because,
which it shows like he was like what, in prison to himself or whatever. He escaped,
right?
And then he traded.
Yes,
he got some money somehow, and he was.
His name is Cobb Vanth, played by Timothy Oliphant, who people love from Justified, and I know him from a bunch of other shit too, whatever.
Deadwood too, right?
He might have he might have been in that.
Yeah, I think he was.
I know him from the movie Go, from Santa Clarita Diet.
That was a funny show
with Drew Barrymore.
That was a funny show.
Yeah, he's just like he's good. He has range. I think he's a great actor. But I think people mainly felt like Western and then Justified were kind of like meeting up, so they were like into that. But so here you go, right? It's like
so you got a familiar name, you got a familiar face. That okay, cool.
You're like, oh shit, and then it's like a Western vibe, right?
Yeah. So right away he recognizes he's not Mandalorian.
And Mando wants the armor.
Yeah, he's like that belongs to Mandalore. That belongs to Mandalorians, not you. He tells him, yeah, okay, I'll give you the suit, but you got to help me kill this beast that's been wrecking the city. You
like
know?
a sand dragon.
It's bad. Yeah, it's ugly. Yeah. It's almost like Tremors. Think Tremors. Have you ever seen Tremors?
Right.
The underground worms. That's how this one is, but much bigger.
Yeah. And a cool aspect of this is that what Double A and I were talking about before the show got started, which, by the way, guys, if you want to see a little bit behind the scenes, go check out our TikTok at JAFN Podcast. We are on TikTok. We don't have that many followers. Well, 175, so that's pretty good, I guess. But, it's no 500,000 like, Nene has, our good buddy Nene. So go check it out. We're not nearly as funny. We're not twerking on President Trump like he is. But we try to show you a little bit behind the scenes. That was suggested by Friday Nighter Alexandria of Alexandria's Sweet Treats and Creations. So go check it out. Tell us what you think if that video sucked or if it rocked. And, maybe we'll do more TikToks behind the scenes for you guys if you want. But, yeah, so, back to Mando. He's the typical Mandalorian fashion, right? It's like, hey, you want this, do this for me, right? So he's like, all right.
As always, like, that's like the
theme, yeah. He's an obvious badass, right? So this, stranger wanders into your town, you need his help to, subdue whatever it is, because he is fucking rad. I mean, from season 1, episode 1.
Mandalorians have a big reputation at just being these absolute badasses at what they do.
And I think Din Djarin, that's Mando's name. Yeah. I think he is extra badass at what he does because he is like, I don't know, it's like a lot of heart.
True Mandalorian. True.
Very,
Mandalorian.
very badass. So, of course, he gets quested with that. He's going to do that with Cobb Vanth. They're going to go and attack this dragon together.
But they actually get the help of who, Sam?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You brought up the Sand People. Yeah. So if you know the Tusken Raiders,
you always know they're just like bad dudes from episode 2, from Return, New Hope. They
kidnapped and killed Anakin Skywalker's mom. Yeah. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Clone Wars,
that one
Attack of the Clones yet. Yeah, it's very long ago in a galaxy far away. So all we've ever seen of Tusken Raiders is that they're bad dudes. Yeah. You know what I mean? But really, they're kind of like natives of Tatooine, so Mando can communicate with them.
So Cobb actually, has a bad relationship with them. The whole city does. They just hate Tusken Raiders. Mm-hmm. Mando talks the language, right?
Yeah, he speaks to them.
And he tells them, about the whole deal. And they tell him about, well, you know what? They've been, eating us too, We try to sacrifice him, but, the bastard's always coming back. And
did it kind of remind you a little bit, Double A, of like almost like your I'm going to say it this way, the non-politically correct way, but the old Cowboys and Indians movies. Yeah. And it's like, hey, there's a larger threat and we need to get together. Because at one point, he does kind of call like a town hall. Yeah, they do. He's the sheriff. Yes, and they're like, no, they raid our towns and we don't want them here and they're savages. And you're like, oh, shit.
And Mando's pretty much like saying that, no, they will not attack your town anymore if you all just get together and help them. Right. They'll keep their distance. You keep your distance.
Yeah. If you have a common enemy and they're in agreement, he's spoken to them for them. So it's very cool. Mando's payment is going to be this armor. And, long story short, he gets the job done, guys, because he's Mando.
It's a bitch, but they get it done. Mm-hmm. And
very cool episode. Totally worth watching. I know you were saying how much you forgot that you loved it.
Yeah, it's a great first episode.
And you're saying, well, how could you forget if it's so great? Because it just keeps getting better, guys. Yeah. The show, I've said this before. I've said it before on this show. Game of Thrones left a big hole in me. And in season 1, I was like, man, this is feeling the hole that Game of Thrones left. Time. In season 2, even more so, Double A, where it's like, damn, this show is really
this show's just really enjoyable. On all cylinders. It gets its job done with episodes. It doesn't, like, from start to finish, it gets what it needs to be done accomplished. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's only like 30 to 40 minutes. It's not even long episodes. And it's real tight, real good, real well written, well directed episode.
Even the season is only 8 episodes.
Yeah, 8 episodes.
I think Pedro Pascal said it, or somebody was one of the people from the show said it. They're like, it's like doing like a 5-hour movie. So it's like you don't want to sit through a 5-hour movie, but when it's broken up this way, you get plenty of time to character develop, tell a great story. You have great storytellers telling the story, so it's really perfect in that sense. And guys, we're coming up on our first break. We're going to read through your comments, answer your questions, anything that you want to ask us. We're talking all things The Mandalorian, Season 2. And we're going to go to a quick break on the podcast, but we're going to remain with you on Facebook Live. So if you're watching us there, stick around, hang out. We're going to answer some questions, and we're going to keep going. We've only got through one episode, so shit, we better gear up. Here we go, guys. Quick break. We'll be right back. All right, Facebook Livers, we're still here with you. Let us read through some of these comments as we're talking all things The Mandalorian 2. Let me start right at the top here. We get a surprise face from Let. Hi, Let. She says, my handsome cousins. Well, no disagreeing with you there. Friday Nighter Yelly says, Happy New Year, Yelly. Happy New Year, Yelly. We hope you're still here with us. If you're not, we're sorry that we missed you. Yeah. Steve, cheers. Cheers. Happy New Year, Steve. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate you watching and being here with us. Mom is here. Mom, did you hear about your good Menudo comments from Adam here? He's waiting on Menudo, so we'll be there to pick that up in a little bit. Who else we got here? Crystal's in the house. What's up, Crystal? Happy New Year. Yeah, we were just talking about you going up to Shiner. Jason Ruiz from Hondo, Texas. What's up, Jason? We've been seeing you comment, man. I hope you got a hold of Mario about the She-Hulk. I think you were asking about the She-Hulk comic book that was on the wall. Mm-hmm. He'd be the man to ask and answer your questions on that. Joe is in the house. I haven't till tonight. I'll get on Cobra Kai. Okay. I'll be with you, Joe. We're both behind, I guess. Joe, I hope you're still hanging in. 2020 was Twilight Zone in itself. Great comment. Yeah, totally. Where is Mario at? Jason, Mario's not a standard on the show. He's a contributor, a friend of the show. We'd love to have him on more. We hope that we will get him on more. But if you want to see him, Authority Comics in Traders Village, 15th Street.
Not this week. Next Sunday.
Next Sunday, though. He's off this weekend.
Yeah. And next Saturday, too. So.
Tab and Ricky Huntley say, hey, and Cobra Kai today. That rhymes. Hey, Cobra Kai today. Yay. Yes. Tab and Ricky Huntley, we appreciate you. We appreciate your love the glasses. Thank you guys so much.
Super awesome.
Let says, love the shirt. Yeah, me too. It's one of my faves. I need to get another one made, so I'm going to talk to Allie soon. Well, can't miss you guys. Intermission for me. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Mom. Appreciate you taking a break from binging Cobra Kai. Aaron B in the house. Aaron B says, you are the wizard. Well, okay. You know, the Wizard of Oz, maybe. I don't know. The great
James
powerful
Franco?
Oz. James Franco. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can do with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good version of that movie there.
Karina,
your sister-in-law here says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Corinne's. Mom is popping the champagne. Have you seen the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage?
No.
Or The Wiz with Michael Jackson?
I still don't want to.
I've not seen The Wiz with Michael Jackson, but I have seen The Wizard with Fred Savage. They play Super Mario Brothers 3. That's really all I remember about it. I don't know if there's anything more. And then Mom has a little cheersy emoji
with the beer.
Yeah, with the beer. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. We answered, I think, we read all the comments. We hope you're hanging in there with us. Keep commenting. If not, you can always go back and
guys, if you have anything about the Mandalorian that you want to add in, write your comments in and we'll read them.
Yeah, totally.
So if you have anything that maybe we miss or some favorite parts of your from the show that you love, write them in.
Or if we said something wrong, correct us. If we said something backwards, correct us. Let us know. We don't want to look like we're incompetent here. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's a lot to remember.
Yeah, but join us in, man. Write comments and we'll read them.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here, guys. We're gonna get right back into it
because everything you do write to us is gonna go on YouTube. Okay, it might not reach this podcast, but it's gonna go to YouTube.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, you're gonna see it that start popping up if you are subscribed to us on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please subscribe to us. And if you are already subscribed to us, you're going to start seeing. I've got some videos scheduled out.
Be popping
up the next couple of days. I'm going to try to have one every day. And it's of our old Facebook Lives. And we're just getting those back, getting those onto YouTube. So it's usually our pre-shows. That's mainly at first. And only recently have we been doing full episodes in this format. So those will be popping up as well, too. I know we were supposed to have the Mario one up sooner. And it's taking me a little bit of time to get it up onto YouTube. But it will be up definitely before... within like 2 weeks or something like that. So give me a little bit of time to work on that. Yeah. But guys, we're going to get right back into it, talking all things The Mandalorian Season 2. Nene says, Chuckles, what's up? Flash me, please. Okay, real quick. For you, Nene. That's all you get, bro. All right, guys, we're going right back in. Right. The Mandalorian Season 2. Here we go. So, AA, that's what we were talking about, was Episode 1... action-packed, man. The Old West. All things. Timothy Oliphant is there. goes out on a cool note, and at the end you catch a glimpse of a character, of
Yeah,
a guy
man.
that we
Yeah.
know that we thought we were seeing this
Yeah.
episode in the beginning, but we were wrong. Then we see that familiar face, man, from what, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, yes.
Boba Fett himself, man.
Boba
I mean,
Fett.
the face that the actual actor returns back.
Yes.
I cannot pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Tamura. Somebody will correct me on that.
He's a dad from Aquaman. So.
Right. And he was, again, he was Jango Fett, and they replaced him. He's the basis of the way the Clone Wars troopers look like.
Those badass clone troopers.
Yeah, they're really badass ones. So, guys, right there, you kind of feel, maybe some people felt cheated. They felt like, that wasn't Boba Fett. That's just Boba Fett's armor. Where is Boba Fett? Is he really dead? Like we saw in Return of the Jedi. And then in the end, you just get this, figure turns around.
Slave 1, right? You see Slave 1 too, right?
I don't know if you see it right then.
Okay.
But he turns around and he's got like a Tusken Raider type thing.
You can tell it's him though, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You could scarred up and looking different in these black robes. So it's him, and that takes us right into the next episode, which takes place on the. Are we in the ice planet yet?
Yeah, they start getting there. First, I think he lands on the planet to get some repairs done or something like that, and he meets that frog lady.
Yes, yeah, he has to give he goes to get repairs.
Yes,
and he has to get.
But they do a shitty job on his fucking ship.
Right, yeah.
But he has to transport now in order for them, because she knows there's a Mandalorian, or the husband knows. Her husband's like on another planet already, but she's like, yeah, my husband can tell you where there's another Mandalorian if you help me get there. So he flies her out. She's carrying these eggs.
Yes. Which are her kids. They're the last of her line, she says, and she's got to get them to him to, I guess, fertilize them?
So this was kind of like the controversial moment of the Mandalorian. It was like, why? Because Grogu starts eating the eggs.
Yeah,
he finds that he likes frogs.
Yeah, he's digging in the jug and he's eating the eggs, and people were like, he's eating the last of their line.
Yeah,
and
everyone fucking went apeshit.
Yeah, he's a Sith, and is Grogu evil? And or still at the time, the child still at this time, or Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it was like, man, people are just. I don't know. Man.
Yeah, people want to cancel culture Baby Yoda. Apparently, I was like, I mean, it's just like a funny plot device about the character.
It's
I don't
not
think
real.
It wasn't malicious. That he's killing the.
He's a baby. What do babies usually do? They put shit in their mouth that they're not supposed to.
Right. I think that was more of the trope they were going for. But she's got plenty in that jug of the eggs or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's fine. It's like you know what I mean. Like we eat eggs.
People are just going so apeshit about it, and it was.
It was like a weird come out of that episode that people were talking about that. Like, oh, okay, we're upset about him eating the damn eggs, but. Either way, great episode in that episode. They go to this planet, kind of reminded me of Hoth, where it's like an ice planet. Once again, Mando's up against this like big ass creature that's like a spider, pretty much.
Well, see, they kind of wake it up first, though.
Right.
Who is it? Grogu? Kind of accidentally.
Well, he takes off, I think.
It's almost like a scene from Aliens where they go into, because they find the frog lady.
Right.
She's kind of like
very Aliens.
in like in a spa almost. They have like a little hot spa, like on that. What do you call those? The springs, like a
hot spring.
Yeah, right. So she's like enjoying the warm weather, the warm water, and her eggs, and Mando's like, no, we need to get out of here,
because his ship is all fucked up.
It's fucked up.
So she's cold and she's trying to warm up, and she finds this hot pool on the planet.
Yeah, but then like you see all these like little like craters, and it, like I said, it's kind of like Aliens, right? You see them just like opening up, and then like these
very
monsters
alien vibe.
come out, and you're like, oh shit,
little tiny spider type things, and if you're freaked out by spiders, then you'd have been no good on this planet. And there's like a shit ton of them, so they pretty much get overwhelmed.
They do.
And that's kind of what happens in episode 2. But they get out.
I mean, so the first 2 episodes are really just he's getting into all these fucking bad deals.
Right.
Trying to look for a Jedi, but every time he tries looking, it's like, I can take you to one, but can you do this for me?
Yeah.
And I can give you some information, but can you do this for me? It's like,
or how about the constant betrayals? It's constantly he gets put in somebody's path, because that happens in episode 1 as well. We get John Leguizamo as an alien.
Yeah, that whole bad deal. Right
he
there.
backstabs him real quick, and then that's the famous kind of little clip where you see Grogu shut the door on his little egg because he knows Mando's about to fucking do his thing or whatever, and he ends up taking care of business with John Leguizamo's alien character, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be the one that kills you," but he leaves him pretty much for dead with these creatures. But
I only see at night, so
they only see at night. So then by this episode, he pretty much gets bailed out by some New Republic officers.
Yes, the New Republic, yes, because they're looking for.
I think they're looking for him in some form. Or
yes,
whatever.
they are. Yes.
Has he seen whatever? And he's trying to be not forthcoming.
So
with
they saved him. Yeah, they saved his ass. They're able to get him out.
Yeah, they're combining X-wings and they're in the classic gear, so it's kind of cool to see X-wing pilots like that.
Yeah, they get him out, and then we head into episode 3 where he finally gets to that planet and reunites, the wife with her husband.
Yes, right in the beginning. That's cool.
And that's when it was like a real emotional scene. People were like, "Oh,
yeah." And then to their credit, he even has to at one point help out some people. Of course, because he always gets asked to help people out.
Of course.
And who does he have watch the child? Is them. He goes to see the lizard lady and her husband, and he says, "Can he stay with you?" And they say, "Fine," even though, and he tells him to behave, to mind his manners, and I don't think he eats any eggs there. I don't know, but he's there in their house. He behaves. It was fine. But Mando needed them to babysit because he runs into a very popular character from the Clone Wars, Bo-Katan.
Yes.
Cruz? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Bo-Katan is her first name.
Katie Sackhoff,
played by Katie Sackhoff, who also voiced the character in the Clone Wars. So if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, this is a huge callback. Like you're like, oh my gosh, you get to see her live action, her helmet painted up. It's very neat because I since went back and watched the Clone Wars episodes, and I see how important and how cool this character was.
Yeah.
And how about for us as WWE fans, one of her
Sasha
people
Banks.
with her, Sasha Banks.
Casca Reeves.
Yeah, Casca Reeves, and she's also the niece of Snoop Dogg.
My cousin
of Snoop Dogg. But if you know her from WWE, she's one of the most hottest popular female wrestlers right now. She came on the scene with those four females, the four horsewomen, which was Charlotte Flair, Bayley, the man, Becky Lynch, and herself, Sasha Banks. These are the four most awesome chicks at NXT for a while, and then they've been kind of just storming the whole main roster now. I mean, they're some of the best. So that was really cool. Do you know the story of how that happened? I don't know that story.
No.
But we just knew that Sasha Banks was going to be on the Mandalorian, and that was really awesome. So kind of a small part. Didn't have too much to say in that episode, but definitely
gets a lot of action.
A lot of action.
Yeah.
Mando helps them out,
but he kind of freaks out first because he's like, they take off the helmets. And
right
again. Like, wait. You're not Mandalorian.
Right.
You're wearing the armor, but you're not. You guys aren't Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's really, really just stuck on. You got to be Mandalorian to wear.
You got to
Mandalorian.
You got to keep your mask on. So she says some stuff that's pretty telling. She looks at the rest of her group and she goes, "Oh, he's one of them. One of the she calls it the Watch." Now, if you know the Clone Wars, that there was a group called the Death Watch, which she herself was a part of, but I don't know if she's referring to another sect or something like that.
There probably is, yeah.
She did say, she goes, "You're part of a rogue group that went back to these older ways. That's where the whole don't remove your helmet thing has come from." And she goes, and he says, "There's only one way," he tells her, you know what I mean? So at first she's kind of unwilling to partner with them, but then he kind of softens because he needs help.
Yeah.
So
they prove their mettle pretty much.
Yeah. As does he, because he in that scene in the end in the hallway, he's the one that goes pretty much right into gunfire, and they're giving him cover fire. And she tells him too that she's looking for Moff Gideon because he has something that she wants, the Darksaber. So now it's being called by this name on the show. We saw Moff Gideon had it at the end of season 1, but we didn't know that we didn't know what it was called until now. We do know. More, and you can go back into the Clone Wars cartoons and Rebels and learn more about this through those episodes. It's pretty cool. So Mando helps them, and she says, "I can send you to a Jedi," and then we get to hear a name, very popular character. She says at the end, "Go and see Ahsoka Tano on this planet." So you're like, holy
you're like,
shit.
finally he's got, he's got someone now.
Yeah. So even if you, maybe even a casual Star Wars fan, you would know at least enough about the Clone Wars to know that one of the primary characters is Ahsoka Tano, who is the Padawan, the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, who becomes Darth Vader. So people are like, "What? He had a Padawan. He had someone that he trained." Yeah, the whole Clone Wars pretty much she's by his side. And again, I'm not fully versed with the Clone Wars, and I'm not done with it. I don't know if you're.
I saw some of it. Some of it,
yeah. Okay, but the story has already become pretty popular. So even us, as not having watched it, we've seen probably enough on YouTube or read enough to know about pretty much how the story plays out. So she gives Mando this name, and then he's on his way to this planet to go find her. And
this is where I really think that the show starts to really, really pick up.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
And
we get this really cool beginning of episode 4. Just, it's a dark forest, like foggy forest.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing like all these kind of like troopers like all around.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's not too long before that you see the lightsabers. And you see Ahsoka. What did you think when you first saw her, Sam?
Well, for me, I like that right away, Double A, because number one, that's one of her trademarks, the two sabers.
The two sabers.
Like one is, I think, shorter, a little bit shorter, and one's longer. So she's there. It's Rosario Dawson playing her. I got to hear this story, like, as I knew that this was happening, that she had campaigned for the role. She loved the character. She always hoped to play her. She's about the age that Ahsoka would be in this timeline. So it was like, wow, like, and the fans all wanted it. So they were like, wow, we're like, it's kind of like it came to fruition.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been done a better way. Did you read any of the comparisons that people were drawing between like the old samurai movies? Like the old...
Yes. I mean, you could tell right off the bat. If you guys ever seen like the old samurai movies, you can just tell the whole settings. It's just, it always looks so ominous, so dark, so scary. And you got like a badass, saber.
Oh yeah. I was automatically right
even
away.
Kind of looks like it's maybe in Asia too.
Yeah.
Like,
I was definitely impressed, and I was like, holy shit! Like, she looks great. They didn't make us wait. She comes out right at the beginning of the episode. Hell, I don't even think they made us wait that long in the season.
No, it didn't. No, I was like, oh wow, she's actually coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to happen, but episode 4, we were like, wow.
But to actually see her like out, I was like, wow, she looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, live action.
Yeah.
It gave you all the feelings of like, man, I want to, see more of this character.
Yeah. And
you're waiting for
But
her.
now we're seeing her kind of like after Return of the Jedi, like a fully trained.
Right.
Even though she's not Jedi really.
Right.
She's not Jedi. But she's still trained, and it's just to actually see where she's at. That she survived all this stuff.
Yeah, Order 66.
All the Empire,
and
everything.
All that. Yeah.
For her to come out just super strong, it's like, wow, it was totally amazing. Another guest appearance I was kind of shocked at, I didn't know, was Michael Biehn. Came out as Lane,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I was like, man, cool. He's back in his kind of like genre, the science fiction genre.
Right.
Yeah.
But also too, a little bit call back to his Tombstone where he has a little bit of a showdown with Mando. And you're like, all right, this is very cool. Like, you just like him like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really rad.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the creators of this show are calling up people that they think might like it, finding out that they're really interested, and then they just put together these great ass episodes. Like, every single episode is better than the last. How fucking hard is that to do, Double A?
Yeah.
And you're just like on the edge of your seat the entire time. So pretty much
it's a good episode though. So
yeah.
What's her name? Morgan Elsbeth. She is the Imperial Magistrate. And she's pretty much keeping that town under Empire jurisdictions,
Right.
pretty much.
Right. There's all these pockets of these imperial assholes
where
that are still like...
Yeah, because the New Republic hasn't really touched all these planets. It's going to be impossible to reach every damn planet.
The Mandalorian is only 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so the Empire is toppled essentially by Luke and the gang. But
you still got the hardcore supporters, just like you do everywhere.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
Sure. And these guys have been sunk in for like 30 years at this point from when they finally get toppled. So it ain't going to be an easy transition out.
It never is. So, Ahsoka's pretty much saying, leave this town, give me the information I need, and I'll spare your life. She's not budging. So Mando comes, she recognizes his armor. She's like, she has this big old staff of Beskar. It's made out of Beskar. She tells him, you have this if you kill this Jedi for me. Yeah. Obviously, Mando's like, well, shit, the Jedi. Okay, cool.
That's who I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. This is kind of a win-win. You know what I mean? And his main concern is to accomplish his goal, which is
to get rid of Grogu, to kind of just set him where he needs to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't say get rid of, but find him put him with his right people that he needs to be with. Although he does have strong attachment to him, so he goes into the forest.
Yeah, he finds her quick.
He finds her pretty quick. Yeah. They get into it pretty quick. The planet looked pretty...
It's not really... they really don't get into it because he's like, wait. I'm not trying to fight you. I need your help understanding the child, which is still being called the child. Right?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick exchange, but, I think I love it. She says it. She's like, I hope we're going to talk about him. And then you see her looking like right at, at the time, the child or Baby Yoda, which we're sure that's what she thinks, is because she's like, I haven't seen a creature like this since Yoda. Yeah. And so she proceeds to tell him that, right? She's like...
Yeah, so pretty much like she starts kind of like communicating with Grogu. Mm-hmm. That's where she tells him that, his name is Grogu. He was at the Jedi Temple when everything bad went down. So I was like, wow, okay, so he was there. Somebody smuggled him out. She doesn't say who it was, but somebody smuggled him out with the younglings while Anakin was slaughtering all the younglings.
Yeah. She also tells him that she's only ever known one other of his kind. I think she does say
Master
Yoda.
Yes.
So we hear Yoda's name.
And then, that's when he's like, well, can you, take care of him? Can you train him to be a Jedi? And that's when she's like, well, he's got too much fear.
And
he's got too much attachment. Yeah.
And she says he thinks of you like a father.
Yeah.
So
she's like, I don't want to train him. So much bad stuff can happen. I've seen this happen to the best of us. That got trained too old, and I've seen what happened to us. It pretty much wiped us out. Like she pretty much is saying, Anakin turned into Darth Vader and wiped out the whole Jedi Order with the Emperor.
A lot of allusion to the story that we know without saying it, outright. But you're geeked because you're like, oh my gosh, she's talking about all that stuff.
She's talking about Anakin. She's talking about Yoda. She's talking about
her
the
master,
Jedi Temple.
all that or whatever. And I guess she also can't train him because she's not a Jedi technically anymore.
She can train him though. But it's just she doesn't want to be responsible for it. Yeah. If something happens like Anakin does.
Right. Right. There's a lot of fear.
I'm pretty sure they're going to show that in the Obi-Wan series about how it fucked up Obi-Wan. Too. Yeah. Probably train him and then to see where he went.
Yeah. But she does give Mando some direction.
She does.
She says, take him to this planet, place him on this stone, like a seeing stone. Yeah. And he should be able to reach out through the Force. It has a strong connection to the Force,
and he'll know his way.
Or maybe a Jedi will find him. She goes, but there's not that many Jedi left, so maybe.
Which I'm actually surprised that there was when she said that. I was like, oh wow, there's still some.
There's still some
roaming around,
like I guess a cluster. Who knows? You know what I mean? But kind of initially maybe a thought might have been like, this is kind of a weird device to move the story along. But like take him to this. And it's like, Mando's always hopping from one foot to the next. Like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I've got to,
there's always somewhere.
Yeah, I've got to do this, that. And, of course, she does tell him, help me topple this, regime here.
Then he makes another deal because she's promising, if you help me with this, I'll take Grogu. Mm-hmm. Remember, she first tells him that. Yeah. That she'll take him and train him. Yeah. Remember?
That's right.
And then he's like, okay, cool. So then that's when they have their showdown.
Yeah. And Ahsoka goes after the Imperial magistrate.
Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah, and she...
with Lang, too, which is played by Michael Biehn.
Right, so these two pair off, and they have their separate duels or whatever. But in the end, they come out on top, Mando and Ahsoka, and he,
Well,
she
kind
does,
of like you said though with Tombstone, right? With
right,
because he even gets shot in the head.
yeah,
Too.
yeah,
I
he
was like,
does. It was
oh,
very
man.
cool. But he ends up with the spear of Beskar. Ahsoka gives it
Yeah,
over
but
to
then
him.
we find out what Ahsoka's actually trying to get the information.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
very
this
cool
drops
moment.
a big bombshell
Right.
for a lot of us, like hardcore Star Wars fans.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know this name. I knew I'd heard it, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It couldn't visualize who
But
it
for a lot of
was.
people, he's super popular in the novels. He's super popular in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's blue skinned. He's one of the Emperor's and Vader's closest like officers.
Right.
And he might be the one in charge of this whole period between the Emperor and Vader regime to the New Order. He might be that part that kept the Empire alive.
Yeah.
For the New Order, the First Order to become what it was, So
everything I've heard about this guy is like a super major badass. It's like, what did they say? Like the Emperor and Vader, and then him
it's
maybe
pretty much almost him.
and
almost.
and then of course after their fall, he pretty much was the one still keeping the Empire going. And,
So you know who the boss is now in this regime. It's not Moff Gideon. It's not anyone else.
Grand
It's Grand
Admiral Thrawn, blue skin, red eyes.
And when you hear that, you're just like, oh my goodness. First off, it was cool because they brought him back because they said all those comics novels were non-canon, but now they threw him back. Mm-hmm. So that's what's cool. And then to hear that you actually have a major name that could be a potential villain for this period between the original sequels or the original trilogy and the sequels. You're like, wow, okay, I can see how the Empire might have.
You need a good big bad, right?
Yeah, you can see how the Empire might have lasted with this asshole running the group.
And what a good look too! What a cool looking character. You see him in the white suit, with the admiral suit and all that. But so that's a huge name drop, and it just left everyone salivating for the next week about Ahsoka, about that story. So I think pretty much almost like the next day, they dropped that Ahsoka will be getting her own series or whatever. So
hopefully we're going to be seeing her and Grand Admiral Thrawn go at it.
And that quest. Of course, people that are fans of the Clone Wars or Rebels are also always asking about the Jedi Ezra. They're either hoping that story comes.
And they're actually that actually gave them hope that maybe he was still alive.
Right. Right.
So.
I don't know how much of the Clone Wars or Rebels you saw at AA, but from what I saw too, the little bit I've seen in the episodes I went back to watch of that character, I didn't particularly care for that character either. Okay. But again, I haven't seen enough to say love him or hate him, whatever. But he just was one that I was just kind of on the fence about. I was like, you're whatever, you know what I mean? Which is the same way that I felt about Boba Fett for the longest time until episode 5. Yeah. So we move from the Ahsoka episode right into this episode.
Yeah, so now he takes Grogu to that planet to wherever he said.
The Seeing Stone, yeah. Now this episode we've gotten to now. So the Ahsoka episode is directed by Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni, yes, so the co-creator of Ahsoka.
And the man, his name is plastered at the end of every episode of the Clone Wars, guys. This is the guy they call the heir apparent to George Lucas. This guy he loves Star Wars, man. I think he lives and breathes it. Mm-hmm. I think his heart is in it, and he is giving us some of the best Star Wars.
Him and Jon Favreau are tearing it up.
Tearing it up, man. Tearing it up. So we go right into the 5th episode. We get to this planet. Mando's gonna go put Grogu on the Seeing Stone. Yeah. He places Grogu there.
Nothing's happening, right?
Nothing's happening at first. He's like, well, what's going on? I thought I was supposed to just click on or whatever. And then eventually it starts to happen. It starts to happen right when he sees this ship land. Yeah. This ship streaks across the sky that we all know, even though we were not the hugest fans, but it's Slave One, the ship of Boba Fett. Yeah. And if you see that ship, guys, you're like, holy shit, that's Boba Fett's ship. Like, what the fuck is happening here? You know what I mean? And it lands. He's like, stay here. I'm gonna protect you. He goes down. He takes off his pack and he encounters Ming-Na Wen, who plays Fennec, the sharpshooter from season 1. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I thought you were dead. And she's like, no, I'm not hard to. I'm hard to kill.
She shows that Boba Fett fixed
her up, yeah, because she was. We saw her what we thought left for dead by Mando, and then he appears himself and he starts to talk to Mando. He's like, the armor you have, I want it back. It's mine. You know what I mean? And they proceed to, talk about that.
Yeah, Mando's not doing it. He's not giving it up. He doesn't believe anything.
He's like, you're not Mandalorian. I'm not going to give you this armor.
Nothing.
It belongs to, Mandalorians.
Yeah.
So they have that discussion. She says, Fennec says she's got sights on the child. She's like, he tells her his gun is aimed at her. He's like, okay, let's figure this out. Well, at that time, then the Imperials arrive.
Yeah.
It's like okay, well, fuck.
Shit.
So they're trying to work out their own deal. With Boba wants his armor. Mando's protecting the child, and it's like now these Imperial assholes arrive. So now they've got to do that. So they get there, and then in like a few minutes, AA, I go from being a non-Boba Fett fan. This episode directed by Robert Rodriguez, Desperado, El Mariachi.
From Dusk Till
Dawn. To being, holy shit, Boba Fett is fucking cool. He's using the weapon of the Sand People, like that big rod. It's almost like a shillelagh, like with like this knob at the end. And he starts to fuck up these stormtroopers, man. He's spinning it around. He's cracking the shit out of the armor. I've never seen the armor get struck like that, the stormtrooper armor. And he's just beating their ass in a badass fashion where you're just like, holy shit, like this guy's like a fucking real badass. That's, Mando and Ming-Na Wen are doing their thing too. They're fending off this battalion of stormtroopers. But Boba Fett is really going hard. And
now what's going on with Grogu now?
Well, yeah. So now the this like beam of energy.
Grogu starts feeling the Force. You can tell. And then the beam goes off. The rock goes off, and
no one can get near him. You get near him, and it's just like blasting you back. This like energy, the Force, the power.
If you're not a Jedi, you're not getting through. And it's like Grogu's understanding where he's supposed to go now.
Yeah, and Mando's trying to tell him.
Because there's all these battalions are like, we gotta go, kid. We gotta go. Because he doesn't trust Boba Fett. He doesn't trust Boba Fett, Fennec. He doesn't trust any of them, and he keeps pushing him away.
Hey, as he says, right? Wherever I go, wherever he goes, I go. So he's just doing his best.
Yeah, while he's doing that, Boba sees an opening to get his armor back.
He goes into the Razor Crest, and then you get this fucking awesome scene of him walking out, guys. I mean, not since Return of the Jedi 1983 have we seen Boba Fett in his own armor. He walks out of the Razor Crest, the pack on, the helmet on, the chest plate on.
The knee pad, everything.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, man. Everyone has always talked about, I guess, the knee rockets. He has these knee rockets. He uses those. So, I mean, I guess if you're a huge Boba Fett fan, you're like beyond geeking. But even me, and I know you as not Boba Fett fans, we were still geeking out. Because we were like, holy shit. Now he's really kicking ass. Even harder than he just was without the damn armor. Using the weapons, using the arsenal, the way it's supposed to be used. I don't think Cobb Vanth, when he had it, was using all that.
I don't think he even knew it was capabilities.
I think he fires that rocket. I think he fires that rocket off the back. I mean, like, you're just like, holy shit. Like, I mean, so I can imagine people just like fucking probably hollering, like, oh my God, it's so badass. If you're like a big, huge Boba Fett guy, which again, I'm now a fan. I was like, that shit is dope as fuck. And it explains why people thought he was so cool. So that happens. And then shortly after that, these super trooper fucking guys
Dark
troopers, they call them. They fly down. They kind of look Darth Vader inspired, I would say, the way the mouth looks and everything. And they're these big, fucking metal robots. They almost remind me of those
strong metal. That can deflect blasters, everything.
Yeah, they almost remind me of those older battalion droids from the old
just so much more advanced.
Yeah, much more advanced.
They grab Grogu.
Because right then the beam ends and his little thing ends and he pretty much crashes out to sleep because, I guess whatever was happening with the Force was so powerful.
It wore him out.
Yeah, they grab him, they take off, then they fucking fire down this shot and blow up the goddamn Razor Crest. Mando's ship that
that was heartbreaking.
That was heartbreaking because that's how well Star Wars is done, guys. Where you even fall in love with the ships. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't felt that way since like old Star Trek. When I saw the first Enterprise get blown up, I was like, no, like it's like a character. That'd be like if they blew up the Millennium Falcon. Like everybody would go into a rage. Like that's how serious that shit is. Guys, we're nearing our next quick break. Again, this is only for you guys that are listening to the podcast version. There won't be a commercial. We'll come right back in. But Facebook Live, we're going to stay with you. We're going to read any comments, and then we're going to get right back to it, guys. All things The Mandalorian. We're almost at the end here, right after this. And you're with us on Facebook Live, and you're like, man, there's no commercial. And the truth is, if you're listening on the podcast, there's no commercial there either. Comments, guys. Anybody else got anything to add about The Mandalorian? We're listening. We're all ears.
Keep on going.
Yeah, we're just going to keep on trucking here.
Like you said, if you got any comments, write them out. If there was a favorite moment that we skipped over, let us know what your favorite moment of The Mandalorian was.
Yeah, if you're still hanging with us here, Facebook Live, guys, we really do appreciate that, man. Again, we're earlier. We didn't announce it, really. Did you check out our TikTok yet? Go give us a follow at JAFN Podcast. We tried to do a little behind the scenes for you there. Sometimes it's difficult. A TikTok like 60 seconds, so it's
again, if you want to see some of our older videos, go on YouTube.
Yeah,
CM is posting them daily almost. So
slowly but surely, so we're gonna
go back and see our old videos too.
Subscribe to us on there, and then you'll see those. And then eventually, like I should have within hopefully 2 weeks, like this one will be out, and then we'll be caught up, and then this will start coming out on YouTube the day of. But you'll be getting little notices. Let, you're still with us. Thanks, Let. We appreciate you being here. Let got some menudo too, so I think she said it was pretty good. So that's good. We're always happy when that happens.
Love some cow stomach.
There you go. None for me.
Look like you wanted to
I like the juice. You know what I mean, with a lot of lemon in it.
Intestine juice.
So guys,
with some poop.
Oh, I know. Hopefully very clean. I'm more of a listener, guys. Hey, appreciate it, Steve. We're glad that you're hanging in, man.
Just support us one way or another.
Yeah, totally, man. Glad that you're here, man. It's awesome. Let says the menudo was awesome. Yeah. Good to hear. Yeah, guys, so we did this little break because, again, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight, we're recording in two places, and like for the audio version and the audio version at 30 minutes, it has to like process everything that we've talked about and recorded, and then we get right back into it. And on that version, there's a little commercial that you hear I do, which is for the app that we use. So that's just to give you a little bit of like, why does it sound, why are you always talking about this other place you're recording? Somebody asked me that the other day, why do you always say you're recording in two places? What does that mean? I said, so this is all part of that new format that we're trying out, so that we can be Facebook Live and be here. So we appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get right back into it. All things The Mandalorian. Yeah. So again, if you watch season 2, if you haven't watched it, you haven't caught up, then do what you can to get back into it, because it's a great show. We're happy to give you the breakdown right here for you right now. So, guys, we're going to get right back into it. All things The Mandalorian. I think we just got through, episode 5?
5. Yeah, we're nearing the end.
Yeah, we're nearing the end, guys. It was only 8, and man, was it fantastic. So we're going to try to get all 3 of those right here at the end. Yeah. Guys, if you were with us on the Facebook Live, we hung out, answered some questions, read some comments. We like to do that every 30 minutes. Again, if you're listening to us on the audio version, you didn't hear that, but, here we are. We're back with you. And again, all things The Mandalorian Season 2, right into Episode 6.
Well, they take Grogu.
The Dark Troopers.
Boba tries going after him, and he tells Mando, whoa, there's like a cruiser, an Imperial cruiser. He's like, they're back. Yeah. He's like, there's no way I can get him. So Mando, he swears his allegiance to Mando to help him out until his debt is paid.
Yes.
So Fennec, Boba, and Mando are all going on the quest now.
So that's rad. That's rad to me. I want to stop you for a second and talk about this, because I think at the end of the Ahsoka episode, we're kind of like, man, well, why don't you go with them? Like, why don't you help? But of course, she has her other mission.
She has a bigger mission that she's trying to go after Thrawn. So.
Yeah, but you're like, damn, like that's all we're gonna get of this character. But it's really rad when you hear this from Boba and Fennec that they're gonna stick with them, and then he shows her. So here's my thing, later on, again, in a later episode, we're going to hear someone tell him, "You're not really Mandalorian," you know what I mean? But he also shows Mando a code. He says, "This is my code.
It's from
I'm in the
Django.
system."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Which Mando accepts a
Right,
lot easier
right, yeah.
than the other three, you know.
Because Mando wasn't born on Mandalore, and neither was
No.
Django. Well, maybe Django was. Django probably was,
Yeah.
but Boba was a
Obviously
clone.
created.
Yeah, he was created. He's a clone
for
of Django.
He
and
was created for Django.
right. Yeah, lived on Camino and
Yes.
then saw his father's demise at the hand of the Jedi, Mace Windu, on Geonosis. So there's a lot to unpack and all that. If you haven't seen those movies, they're out there. So he vows to help them. That's really rad because you're like, oh shit, Mando's got some help. Then we go to episode 6,
Yeah.
which I believe, does he go to Kara right here? He goes to Kara.
He does. Yes.
He goes to Cara Dune and lets her know. And we might have skipped over that episode earlier that happened where.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we skipped over that episode. Yeah, there's an episode earlier where
she becomes a ranger.
Or a sheriff, like
well, I think she becomes a ranger.
Something like that.
Yeah, because she's from Alderaan. We learned she's from Alderaan.
Right.
So obviously she was around when that planet got blew up by Grand Moff Tarkin.
And the first Death Star.
Yeah, so they blow up that base, and she gets promoted. She's on the good side. She's a sheriff.
Yeah.
Now she's on the good side of the law, right?
Right. So they're on Navarro. They're there on Navarro. And in that earlier episode, there's a really cool part. And again, guys, this is why you got to watch it because we're going to give you as much as we can, but you got to go watch so you can see these little parts that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Mando helps her in Grief, Karga, the one that's played by Carl Weathers. He helps them out with a little side mission, and then in that time, Grogu goes to kind of like school or whatever, and he steals some cookies. It's a really great scene if you're a huge Baby Yoda fan. But in this episode, he goes back to her, Mando, because now he needs help. Right? He's like, I need to track this guy down, who we saw in season 1, played by Bill Burr. Yeah. His name is Miggs
Mayfield.
Miggs Mayfield, right? So this is a guy who you think that Mando killed at the end of that episode in season 1, but he didn't. Yeah. He didn't kill him or whatever. And they were old, buddies that ran kind of the streets back in the day. But in this episode, they turn on Mando or whatever in season 1. So now he has to track him down. He goes to Kara. He says, "I need you to help me find this guy." She's like, "I can't do that anymore. I'm like a sheriff now."
Yeah.
And he tells her they took the kid. So at that's
point, when she's like, "Okay."
Yeah. So she knows he means business, and she's going to help him. So she helps him to go track down Bill Burr. So they pretty much go get Bill Burr out of jail. And he's like, "Why do you need me?" And Mando tells him, "Well, you're an Imperial, and you know Imperial codes, and I need to track down Moff Gideon, and who took my kid." And who he says, "Little green guy."
Yeah.
And a classic Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr's stand up and his comedy. Personally, but Boston guy. But so he's gonna help them. They're gonna make him help them, and they got to go onto this Imperial base and get these codes. They've got to disguise themselves as Imperials. They're with Boba and Fennec and Kara, and they're like, "Well, none of us can go in because they'll recognize all of us. They've all got records on us." They're like, the only one whose face they haven't seen is you, Mando, and of course he can't show his face. So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna disguise myself as one of them." They beat up some, they take their uniforms, and he covers up his face again. And they're riding along. They're delivering some type of material.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like what the stuff they show in Solo, almost, don't you think?
Yeah, that
where it has to keep calm,
right?
It has to be kept at a kind of like a weather kind of temp container. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was that stuff that they show in Solo.
I forgot that aspect of that one.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, oh wow.
Kind of reminds you of like a plutonium type thing or whatever.
But you have to drive really slow. You have to take care of the cargo, and it's even got like meters of like where it's at, where it's stable or where it starts to get unstable, and it could actually blow up.
Right.
The Empire needs this fuel, whatever it is. They need it bad, but these rebels keep shooting down every damn cartload. And so they're like, oh shit, so now they start panicking because he's like, we're just supposed to go into the Empire and get the codes and come out, and now we're actually fighting rebels, and it's a cool fight that happens between the rebels and Mando and Migs.
Moving vehicle, they're fighting on top. These are guys that our heroes would probably otherwise be helping in this kind of cause. But in this particular instance, they're just trying to get, and this is what I love about the Mando character too, is that he's like, I don't care about anyone else's personal agendas. I'm here for the for the kid. You know what I mean? And I love that. They formed that bond over the first season and then throughout now, where he's like, I really want him to be in the right place. I think even when in season 1, when he was on the planet with the where he first meets Kara, and there's the chicken walker there, and he meets the woman, you know what I mean? And she tells him, she's like, just take off your mask and just live here with her and like take care of the kid. I think that he had planned to leave the kid there because he knew that would be a good life. But I also think that he didn't trust himself to just live a calm life because he knows like who and kind of what he thinks he is. You know what I mean? Plus also the Mandalorian whole code thing with him. Anywho, so they get onto the base. And they tell him, you guys are the only one that made your run today. You know what I mean? Mando and Migs. Or Mayfield.
And it's like bad. It's like a bad ride. But they get there.
Yeah. So and they're like, they're the only ones that made it today. And so they're like, all right. So
they go, everyone's like celebrating. And the computer monitor, it's like what they need. And there's like officers like onto the right of them.
Right.
And Bill Burr, Miggs, recognizes one of them as his old commanding officer. He's like, it's like, he's gonna spot me. Let's just abort. Let's abort. And Mando's like, no, we need to go.
And he tells Mando, he's like, it's not gonna work because he has to have face recognition. You have your helmet on, or whatever. You're gonna have to take your helmet off. And then he's like, whatever, I'll do it. So he goes in. We see him looking around, takes the helmet off, which is kind of neat. There's only the second time we've seen Pedro Pascal, take off his helmet, and it recognizes his face, which is really cool. Like not recognizes him, but like it gets a face ID, like, okay, you're a real person or whatever, not a droid or anything. And then at the same time, that commanding officer starts to talk to him, like he's like, hey, soldier, blah, blah, you know what I mean? And he's trying to ignore him. And, he gets what he needs out of the machine.
Yeah, but then he starts questioning him on stuff, and he, obviously Mando's not going to know.
Yeah, he kind of freezes up. Well, luckily, right then, Bill Burr walks in. He's like, "Oh, this is my buddy, blah blah." He's like, we call him Brown Eyes. You know what I mean? And he's like, "No, he's hard of hearing or whatever." So, and it's great.
It's like we just came off from like a big mission.
Yeah. And Bill Burr delivers it so well.
Yeah, he does.
And also Breaking Bad fame. You know what I mean? So, so the commanding officer, well, I know y'all made your run. Come sit down and have a drink with me, right? So, they've got no choice, right? They're in this fucking sticky, like the tension is so high, right? Double A, you're like, holy shit. And they get there or whatever, they sit down, they're having a drink with them, and they start talking about pretty much war stories, right? You know what I mean? And it's kind of neat to see like the Imperials, because you kind of get like, you see Star Wars space movie, all that, whatever, but you don't think like there's like a whole like dark side to it or whatever.
Yeah, but then you find out like slowly that that commanding officer that is very callous about his men, doesn't give a shit. Everything's for the Empire. Everything doesn't care how many people die for it.
And this is rubbing Bill Burr the wrong way
because he was there. He saw,
and those were his buddies. And those were his friends, you know what I mean? So he sees him as like, oh, this is your typical asshole second lieutenant that sends guys into the fucking cannon fire to get blown away. And so, he's telling him, well, a lot of good men died that day, men with families, you know what I mean? And you're feeling it, and Mando's looking back and forth between them. Like,
Mando's, you can read Mando's eyes like, don't stop.
Don't say anything, don't go there. And this guy's like, no, but it's all for the Empire, right? And they give him this real like Southern twang too, right?
Yeah.
The way he talks like a typical asshole, man. Like it's just so well written.
Him off. Yeah.
And he's just like there, and then you just know something's gonna happen, and
sure enough,
sure enough, Bill Burr's just like, oh, fuck this, I'm just gonna boom, blows this guy away in front of all the other Imperials. And you're like, Mando's eyes get big. He looks at him like, what the fuck did you just do? And then he's like, oh, well, we got to get out of here anyway. Fuck it. And I said, like, all right. And he goes, don't worry, I never saw you. He puts his helmet back on. They start shooting it out.
I like that part, though, when he tells him that.
Yeah.
He's like, I never saw your face.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah.
And they start shooting it out. They get out of there. Great
sharpshooting by Kara and Fennec.
Kara and Fennec are sharp. They're giving him badass cover fire. Yeah. Guys, I'm telling you, it just has so many things.
That episode's great, yeah.
It's so action. And it's an episode that you thought was going to be like a come down from the
it
previous one. But no, it's still going strong. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you get this great end part where they pretty much let Bill Burr go.
Yeah, they come back and Kara tells Mando, is like, oh, it's too bad about, prisoner, so-and-so that he got killed on this planet. Yeah. And, Miggs is like, does that mean I can go?
Yeah.
And he's looking at both of them like, I can go. And he doesn't believe it until, like, they fly off. And then that's when he's like, oh, wow.
Oh, because we forgot. There's also this really great scene as they're leaving in the ship once they get rescued. I think Boba picks them up.
And they're with Boba.
Then he goes to pick. Then I think afterwards he picks up Kara and Fennec.
Yeah.
But it's Bill Burr, Boba flying, and Mando in the back. Well, then he's like, hand me that rifle. And he looks down and he aims right at that material, that explosive material there that they brought in that they're going to use to continue to fuck shit up the Empire. And then he's like, just takes a shot at it, boom, and blows the whole shit up, man. So it's kind of almost like he's like, yeah, we made that run and we brought you this shit, but fuck you.
Because in season 1, they kind of like make fun of him because, like he's like stormtroopers, that they can't shoot.
Yeah.
And, he's showing that, obviously he can't shoot,
Yeah.
He's not that stormtrooper.
And Fennec says, great shot. That was a great shot. So she makes a comment about it. So it's really cool. And then how they let him go, too. So maybe that means we'll get to see more of the Bill Burr character later on. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all because it's so great.
They really developed him just in that one episode. I was like, wow.
38 minutes, double A.
More.
This is what I tell people.
I felt more love for that character in this episode than what you probably could have done anywhere else,
Probably than you felt for Ray or Finn or Poe Dameron.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, man, this guy was in this shit, being led, by this asshole that didn't care about anyone, and you brought more depth to this character. You brought more, maybe PTSD.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, definitely there. And that's the power of what Filoni and Favreau are doing with this, is that when they can make you love a character in a few short minutes of one episode. We met that Bill Burr character in the other episode. We probably thought it was an asshole. Now in this episode, we're on his side. Like I said, character. I turned into liking Boba Fett, who I've spent all my life never bought a Boba Fett toy, never would buy a Boba Fett shirt, never got into any of the Boba Fett stuff. I mean, again, I was like part of the Star Wars lore, know who he is. Yeah. Cool if you're a fan of him. Everyone gets behind their guys. It's all good or whatever. And I mean, like, no particular hate for him. Just wasn't one of my guys. I'm like, man, in one episode, I'm like, they legit showed the badassness of this character. So totally cool. Again, the same thing with the Bill Burr character, and I like how they handled it too. Whatever it was like, they're like, hey, fucking just let him go, man. He helped out or whatever. So, they get off. He leaves. And I think...
they get the code, so everything
they get the codes, and then we get this kind of... I think we're right at the point where he gives the message, right? He sends that message to Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
And he pretty much quotes and paraphrases Moff Gideon from what he tells him when he's coming after the child, after Grogu. He says, you don't know what you're in possession of. It means more to me than this. Pretty much trying to tell Mando off in season 1, I'm coming to get you, and I'm coming to get what's mine.
Yeah. In these episodes, you kind of find out what they're doing with Grogu, why they want Grogu. You start seeing these clone tanks in one of the cruisers, and obviously they need his Jedi blood, or not Jedi blood, but Force blood.
The midichlorians. I like how they call it M count. Yes. They don't say midichlorians because I know people hate that or whatever, but they're like he has a higher M count than anybody we've ever seen.
And so they're trying to feed these clones. It's like, what the hell are they? Are they the Emperor? Are they Snoke?
I don't know.
We
see them in these tanks, but they don't really.
But obviously, if you've seen Rise of Skywalker, you see all those kind of clone tanks too. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, they're into cloning.
Yeah, big time.
So it's like, wow. So this kind of really leads into the sequels more and more, don't you think, Sam? Like,
totally.
Okay, so that's why they want Grogu.
Totally. one thing I wanted to say real quick, double before we move on from the Bill Burr thing, I wanted to tell a story because I went to go look it up afterwards because I was like, Bill Burr, from what I know of him, isn't like a sci-fi guy, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that. So this story is how he got the role: is that he's at a party of Jon Favreau's through an invite through somebody else.
Okay.
He's like, he gets to meet Favreau, and Favreau goes, "Hey, I'm doing this Star Wars show. He says they gave me Star Wars, and I'm doing this show, and I'd like you to be on it." And he goes, Are you seriously asking me? He's like, I spent a lot of my time making fun of these guys, like guys that dress up as stormtroopers and shit like that. He goes, that's in my comedy actor. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, that's exactly why I want you, because it would be funny, like a guy like you getting in there. Okay. So he says that he was really unsure about it. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to do it, but that his wife goes, it's Star Wars. It's Jon Favreau. You do it. You take the job. So he says he did it or whatever, and then he goes, man, he goes, yeah, I still kind of have my same thoughts. He goes, at 1 minute you're at work and you see these guys dressed like whatever, you know what I mean? And you're like, what the hell are we doing here or whatever, But then he goes, once you start talking with them and you're starting to interact and you see the story that these guys are telling, you can't help but like get into it and see like, this is not, your mom and dad's Star Wars. This is something else, and it's really, really, special. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty badass. So he says he's always afraid of the nerds now and the geeks, because he's like, oh man, they're gonna like come after me because I famously, dogged on this shit for so long with her. But I think that's pretty cool of Jon Favreau to go ahead and still
say. You can almost say it's like a punch, like a joke. Almost,
yeah, sure, exactly. And now this guy's like probably a fan favorite. The guy's gonna get so many fans off of this, and then he's gonna be like, oh great, you know what I mean? Now I can't go get a fucking coffee in Boston because people love me from Star Wars of all things. He's been doing comedy for 20 fucking years. But anyway, guys, that brings us right up to, I believe, the season finale. You get this message at the end of the episode of episode 7, where Mando pretty much paraphrases Moff Gideon and tells him,
great too, the hologram.
Yeah, the hologram comes up, and he's like, you have something that is more important to me than you'll ever know. I'm coming for him. You're not, you don't know what you're in possession of, and you're like, holy shit, like Mando is really like going in on Moff Gideon, telling him what's what. So you're just left on this moment of like, holy shit, I can't wait till next week. And then it starts out with episode 8, I believe we didn't miss anything, and then it's like you get them the doctor, they're chasing the doctor.
Yeah, it's Dr. Pershing, the one who tells them pretty much everything, about what's going on with Grogu.
Yeah. So they're chasing him. Their slave 1 is chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
They board Mando and Cara, and there's a neat exchange. How about her and that guy?
Yes.
The one of the co-pilots.
That dude's like all Empire.
Yeah, he's a big dick.
Hardcore Empire.
Yeah, he's even telling off the doctor like, "Shut up! This isn't your lab." Whatever. They board. He grabs him as a hostage and puts the gun to him. Yeah. He's like, "You don't know who this is," and then he starts to tell Cara. Because when you're what she was, and then they call her a jumper also. Yes. They call her, she's got a rebel tattoo right under her eye. He goes, I saw your tear, so I know that you're from Alderaan. He's like, I was on the Death Star. And she quips back with him. She's like, which one? And he's like, oh, you think you're funny? He's like, thousands of men died on there. My friends, stuff like that. So it's kind of another insight to the other side, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Where you see like, oh, well, they lost a lot too, or whatever,
The Kevin Smith thing, right?
Clerks. Kind of the Kevin Smith thing, yeah.
Clerks.
Yeah, some of this he did address on his podcast already as well about his Mandalorian episode. But anywho, she proceeds to kill him, and at the same time, I think like shoot off a piece of the ear of the doctor. So that happens, and we're losing the light outside, so it's making us look like we're in a horror movie now. But I was noticing I was going into shadow too. I was like, damn, why is it getting dark? I was like, oh, we lost the sunlight. Yeah. But sorry guys, this is for our Facebook Live listeners or viewers. So anywho, that moment happens at the beginning. Then the doctor just pretty much starts to spill the damn tea, right? Double A. He's like, oh,
he's a scientist. He's
not
a soldier.
He's like, no, you're wrong about this. There's these dark troopers in this cold storage, and he's giving them the whole rundown, the whole layout. And at first I thought it was a setup. I was like, oh, he's setting them up because he's like giving them everything. But no, he was just giving it up. He was like, I'm trying to preserve my own skin. Yeah, so he pretty much gave them all that. Oh shit, I almost forgot that we have Mando knows he's gonna need help. They go get He goes to find Bo-Katan and
Casca and Axe Woes. Yeah.
yeah, but at this time
They have a bad tense meeting with
moment.
Boba Fett.
Yeah. So, and which is kind of cool too, because it's a callback to
Yeah, because
things.
Bo-Katan's like, I've heard your voice like 1,000, over 1,000 times.
And how does he snap back? It'll be the last.
It'll be the last one.
voice you hear. You're like, oh, they're getting heated. And
Yeah.
Sasha Banks is all about defending her lady. You know, Bo-Katan, who Boba is calling princess, which we know she from the Clone Wars, she's the princess of Mandalore.
Yes. Yes.
And they're talking about restoring Mandalore, blah, blah. And he's pretty much like, that place is like that place is done for. The Empire wiped that shit out. And they're like, she's like, you're a disgrace to your armor. And it just gets heated to the point where Sasha's character,
her and Boba
go at it, and she drops this motherfucker with a nice old DDT. You know what I mean? Like, uses the jetpack. I mean, it was a geek out moment. You know what I mean? He slams her through a table. Like, I was like, this is fucking legit. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this show, man. So it's pretty cool. She gets him to calm down. Bo-Katan, she tells him, if we'd have shown that kind of heart against the Empire, we wouldn't be where we are now. She tells Mando, I think again, that she wants Moff because she wants the Darksaber. He's like, I don't care about what you want.
And
you can have whatever you want.
She's pretty insistent that it has to be her.
Right.
That beats Moff Gideon.
Right. That's a big deal. So, that's a big deal to her. And he's like, whatever. All I care about is Grogu.
I just need your help.
Yeah, all I need your help is the kid. So now, in your mind, if you're watching this,
but it's almost kind of like, in order for them to help, you got to help us get this ship, control this ship. And he's like, oh fuck. Yeah.
So at this point, we've got because he even tells you can have the cruiser. It'll help you in your quest for Mandalore. So pretty much now you've got this dope ass crew assembled of like Cara Dune, Bo-Katan, Sasha Banks' character, Casca, Fennec,
Boba.
Yeah, Boba.
Mando. It's almost like an elite unit.
Pretty much from everything that we've seen up to this moment. So they've built it up.
It's a squadron you would want. Yeah.
Definitely. They go in, they storm the ship.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. They're fucking up the stormtroopers. You get without paying attention to it, because I know I missed it. It wasn't until later, and it was like people were putting up memes and shit, and they were like showing the Marvel women all together, and they were like, when women get it done, cringe-worthy, and here goes when women get it done without the cringe, which both are fine with me.
It's fine.
Whatever. But yes, it's Fennec, it's Cara, it's Bo-Katan, and then Sasha's character. And it's for women or whatever, cool, but it's just cool because they're badass.
It's weird because it's like you don't look at them as women; you're just seeing these Mandalorians, this ranger, this old school ranger, and this badass sharpshooter. You can just get into the characters.
They've built up.
Forget about the
point.
Genders. Just look into the characters, and you're like, whoa, that's a squadron I will want.
Yeah, they've properly built them up. Yeah. There's no gratuitous scene of them or whatever. No. You know what I mean? But it's totally badass. Anyway. They're doing their part, and Mando's got to go do his part, which is go get the kid. That's his goal. He goes. They're trying to storm the bridge to get to Moff Gideon. Mando is on his way to get Grogu, and at the same time, potentially get rid of the Dark Troopers who are going to be a problem. They say
that's going to be a major problem. Yeah.
So he gets there almost in time, but they're already getting out. Gideon activates the Dark Troopers.
Well, first off, they actually do reach all the way to the end of the controls, and they see no Moff Gideon.
Right.
So they're like, "Where the fuck is he?"
Yeah.
Then Mando, he's like he sees the Dark Troopers getting activated. They're coming out. He's like, no. So he runs.
He's legit worried.
Yeah. He tries shutting the door. One of them holds it open, pushes it, forces his way out. Just one of them. And man, it's a big fight.
They go at it.
Mando has to use every skill he has to kill this.
How about those fucking straight punches?
They're just like boom,
he's hitting him right in the helmet. Boom.
Oh man,
boom, boom.
And you don't see anything because Mando's helmet's not cracking, but you see the back part, the metal part. He's going deeper and deeper into the wall.
He's knocking the shit out of him.
And you can imagine
Mando's head is banging inside the helmet.
Inside the helmet,
Yeah, so he puts up a hell of a fight, but dude, the fighter that Mando is, man, I mean, it reminds me of a damn Wolverine.
He's trying to do everything. Blaster's not working.
Whistling
the
birds.
missiles.
Yeah.
His missiles aren't working. Nothing. Fire, not working. It isn't until he has to use his Beskar spear.
Yeah.
Finally gets through.
Yeah, he gets it pretty much wedged up under this one's neck, breaks it, reaches the lever, and jettisons all the dark troopers out into space, which you're like, oh man, thank God.
It's over.
Because that one was a fucking beast.
Yeah. Can you imagine all of them against all of them?
Exactly.
It wouldn't have worked out.
Gets into the bridge where Grogu's at, and who is standing there
with the Darksaber?
Darksaber over his head. Moff Gideon, and he goes and tells him, you know what I mean? Like, he's very, very Giancarlo Esposito, very cool, very fucking evil and dark.
Yeah.
And he tells him, he's just talking very calm. You know what I mean? Don't assume I don't know anything. You know, you're just like, damn, man, this guy is just like a dick, man. So he finally says, I got what I wanted from him. You can take him. You can leave. Yeah. And you're like, okay. Mando's like, all right. He grabs the kid. He's like, you keep the Darksaber. I don't want it. Yeah. I don't care about that. I'm here for him. That's it. Yeah. Starts to walk out. Moff Gideon fires it up. Starts going at it with Mando. They're going at it. Beskar spear versus Darksaber, which you said for you and for me as well. This is the first time we really knew. We'd heard them say that it could stand up to. Beskar could stand up to a lightsaber, but that was kind of newly introduced.
For me, I did not know that. I didn't know there was anything that can stand up to a lightsaber.
Until this series with
the Beskar. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And it really did. So Mando...
it gets hot. You can see where it gets hot, but it never breaks.
And it doesn't cut through. Yeah, and they're going at it, man. It's a great duel between Mando and Moff Gideon. Yeah. Mando gets the best of him, drags him to the...
But then we kind of see why maybe he got the best of him.
Why would you say that was?
Well, because remember, that's why she was so insistent on her needing to beat Moff Gideon. Remember?
Okay. You think he held back a little bit?
Maybe. Just because he says that later on.
Yeah.
You can't...
Right.
She can't be the welder of it.
Yeah.
Because she needs to beat you. So,
yeah.
Maybe. I still think Mando would have taken her.
I think so, too.
That's not anything. I just think, I think maybe that's why he did it, though.
Right.
To fuck with Bo-Katan.
No, for sure. For sure. He was trying to play that extra card. Yes. I definitely see Moff Gideon being that type of smart guy.
Yeah.
Well, he drags him to the bridge.
Yeah, real easy, right?
Just,
come in.
Yeah. He comes to the bridge. He's got the Darksaber on. Bo-Katan looks quickly and is like, what happened? And he's like, no, he was there. Like, but whatever. Like, he's got Grogu in his arms. He's got Moff Gideon tied up. And he's pretty much like, this is what happened or whatever. He was there, blah, blah. And,
there you go.
Right? Yeah, there you go. That's what Bo-Katan says. He's like,
Bo-Katan has his face kind of like.
And that's when,
oh, fuck.
That's when Gideon starts kind of laughing. He's like, no, she can't take it. You know what I mean? And he's like, the Darksaber has to be won. And he goes, it's not the saber that has power. It's the story that has power. Now, I saw an article, AA, but I didn't read it. But I just saw that it said there's a loophole with that story.
Okay.
And from the episodes that I went back and watched of the Clone Wars, I don't know what that article said because I didn't read it. But I think that this is what it might have been about. She gets the Darksaber given to her earlier in the series from Sabine Wren.
Yeah.
But maybe it was because it's Mandalorian to Mandalorian.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But then it shouldn't matter, though, because it was Mando's Mandalorian, Din.
And he's like, here, take it. I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with being King of Mandalore.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that. That's like that's none of his concern. So, it makes you think, she's not going to take it. She doesn't take it.
Maybe the other two, maybe she knows the other two won't follow her. Who knows?
Right. Who knows on that? And we're going to finish up. We're right at the end, guys. About 5 more minutes here, right after this quick set. Guys, if you're still with us on Facebook Live, Steve, thank you for coming back. We saw you left and came back, Steve. We really appreciate it. Sorry, it's taking us extra long, and we know it's, it's not late in the evening. It's about to be 6. But we got about 5 more minutes left in this episode,
not too long.
Maybe 10. But if you're here, we appreciate you being here. And if you got to go, you got to go.
Hey, you gotta go.
Come back and watch later. We appreciate you guys being here. I'm sure people are going to be surprised. They're like, wow, it was like a damn ass early episode. We didn't tell anybody. We probably should have announced it. We've got ourselves in a bunch of weird lighting now. because the sun went down on us as we're sitting here. But guys, if you have any questions, if you are sitting out there in the world of the Facebook Live, we're answering them right now. We're here. We're available for you. We're talking about the Mandalorian. And anything else, Double A?
No, let's just get into it so we can celebrate our New Year's too as well.
Yeah, guys, are you guys still celebrating? Oh, there you go, Double A. There it is, right there. We were looking like a couple of horror movie characters there for a minute, sitting in the dark.
Yeah, it's Friday. We have our 3-day weekend.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah, you're gonna finish up Cobra Kai.
Yes, I.
I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna get started. I'll probably finish on my lunch breaks throughout the following week.
Okay.
But yeah, speaking of, we're talking all things The Mandalorian. I don't know if I had a chance to say this, but I'm playing in the Fortnite game. I know I was talking about that with my nephew. He's currently a character or whatever, so you can play as the Mandalorian
with the Grogu, right?
You have to earn up to get him to be floating around with you, and you start out. It's cool. You start out in his first episode 1 armor, and as you play through missions, you get each piece of Beskar. So so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat little concept too. But you get his rifle and things like that. Definitely.
What's they're gonna sell that too? Nerf.
Yeah, I saw that. Rifle, did you see the price on that?
No, I didn't want to.
$120 Double A on a Nerf gun. Yeah, I'll probably be suckered into that. What can I do? You know what I mean? What can I say? It looks damn sweet. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't consider myself a fan if I didn't have that. But guys,
all right, let's finish this out. Guys.
We're gonna finish out strong here, and then we'll probably be on you for maybe 2 minutes afterwards on the Facebook Live. If you guys, anyone has anything else to say before we end it out here, but right now we're going right back into all things The Mandalorian. So Double A, we were saying.
Yeah, the whole saber.
But I thought, I thought she accepted it once without battle. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna talk about that or maybe the reasons why or not. But anywho, at the point
that becomes a problem. So that becomes an issue. Mando has a whole other problem now that he has to fucking worry about.
And while that conversation is going on, we see Moff kind of reaches for a gun. I guess he finds on the floor something like that. Yeah. Well, at the same time, Fennec says we're being boarded or whatever or something like that, and they say how many life forms, and she goes 0, and we see all the dark troopers are flying back onto the ship. Which we forgot they could fucking fly. Yeah. Because
I did.
They flew down to get Grogu.
I know.
I forgot too. And you just see the screen, and they're all coming on.
Or you just think maybe they'll freeze out there in space, you know what I mean? Yeah, because it's fucking cold in space. So
I don't know. But they're coming back on, and Gideon says, Moff Gideon says, well, that's the Dark Troopers. You saw how much trouble you had with one. You know what I mean? He tells Mando that.
Yeah, they're just going to come in and blast them all.
Exactly.
Nothing can... He blasted them, and it just bounced off.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're in this sticky situation now where they're close the blast doors.
Yeah, they're cornered.
They're stuck. There's... He goes, you saw how well you did against one. Let's see how you do against a whole battalion. So it's 20, I guess, maybe. And there's, 5 of them. Yeah. So they're there on the bridge waiting. And then they're like, what the fuck? I mean, there's this tension, guys, of what the fuck is going to happen.
All they're going to do is just stand their ground.
That's even though you have this elite group of fighters here, the best, you know what I mean? It ain't going to be enough.
No, it's not.
Even with the Darksaber, even with. Yeah. So then... what happens, Double A? Take me through the paces here.
Well, so that an X-Wing comes in. Did you think anything of this? Because at first I was just like, it's probably the New Republic, right?
When I saw the X-Wing, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's those guys from...
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
We've already seen them come from the New Republic or whatever coming into... And even Kara says, one X-Wing? You know what I mean? What's that going to do? Or whatever,
you see a figure come out and just start... beating the shit out of these Dark Troopers with ease.
You see a hooded figure, with a lightsaber.
Yes.
And at first you don't see what color the lightsaber is because you're seeing it through the screens,
it's
right?
Black and white. Yeah.
And Grogu starts to kind of touch the screen. So you're like, oh man, it's a Jedi. Yeah. So that much we do understand.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, who the fuck can this be?
Yeah. I even thought it might have been Ahsoka. I was like, maybe it's Ahsoka.
Maybe I thought it was too.
But it was just the one single lightsaber, and it's going to town. Yeah. Then it cuts to
the real scene.
And we see the color is green. So now we're like, so my mind starts to think, I
was like, whoa, could this be? Yeah, for me, I was like, could this actually be him?
it crossed my mind, but I was like, no, it's probably one of those Clone Wars characters that I'm not that familiar with. But then he does a move, and I see the one gloved hand, the black gloved hand, and then I was like, that's him.
Luke. I told my wife, I go, that's Luke. I actually told her like that. I go, that's fucking Luke.
Friday Nighter Alexandria said that, who made this shirt for me, who said, she goes, all I know is that my boyfriend, her boyfriend Richard, started to scream, she said, and jump down and say, it's Luke, and she goes, I don't know who Luke is or what that means. And I said, don't worry, it's important. Damn it, Allie. Yeah, so it was important. I wasn't jumping up and down because I was like, I'm not going to bet on it. I'm not going to bet on it.
I was frozen when I was like, is that Luke? I kept asking myself, is that Luke? Is that Luke? And
I needed to see that hood come down.
And then, man, you just see this Jedi going to town on these Dark Troopers like nothing. The moves he was doing, the force he was using, and all the guys, getting... Bo-Katan.
They're all glued to the screen. The way we were glued to the screen.
Grogu is kind of like this, like doing like that to the screen, like where he can feel the strong force. And sure enough, the elevator comes in. He gets in the elevator, comes out.
But Double A, that scene was reminding me away of the end of Rogue One. That terrifying scene that I saw in theaters twice, and both times, Double A, it literally sent chills up my spine. It literally made me fearful. When the one guy's like, "Help us!" You're like, "Oh my God!" And Darth Vader starts to tear them apart.
Except it was reversed now,
where you're like, "Hope." Now I'm filled up with hope.
Now you're like, yes.
That I'm seeing the greatest possible Jedi Master, the man that toppled the Empire.
And the moves he's doing, CM.
The fully fledged Luke Skywalker, man.
Just the Force at his disposal, using it with ease. Crushing that last one.
My gosh. That was the mirror moment of his dad when he chokes out that last rebel in that cruiser before. You're just like, wow. So at that moment, the elevator opens.
They open the doors.
They open the doors.
And he reveals himself, and it's Luke.
Mando says, let him in. And Fennec says, are you crazy? And she goes, no, let him in.
Yeah.
He trusts him. And he takes down the hood.
And it's Luke.
And it's Luke Skywalker. And you're like, and I was like looking like, I knew they had been talking about Sebastian Stan. I was like, did they get him? I was like, damn, I couldn't tell. And I was like, man, it just looks like maybe CGI. But
it was CGI. But it was great. It looks a lot better than where Rogue One was at. It looks really good. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, I fucking freaked. And then R2 comes out.
Oh my God, that moment. Kevin Smith said on his, he goes, that's when he said he broke down with tears. He goes, that moment was too much for him. And how about this? This is something that they pointed out on their show. I'll like to give all the credit I can to Fat Man Beyond, a great pop culture podcast hosted by Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin. But he says, didn't it seem like Grogu didn't want to go until R2 came out?
Yeah, it seemed like that.
It did seem like that. And then people started to debate, is R2 who rescued him from the Jedi Temple. He would have been in the area in the same place at the same time.
But he was with Anakin.
That's what I was thinking. But wasn't Anakin... Anakin's obviously there slaughtering younglings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he might have left him in his plane, though.
We know that R2
he was with
resourceful.
Anakin even on Mustafar. He was with Anakin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. But it almost seemed like there was a familiarity or something there because he really warms them when R2
I didn't think about that, but and
dance and stuff. He does a little R2 dance, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I thought it was a cool point they brought up, but either way, that moment.
I don't know. I'm only saying that because he was on Mustafar with Anakin.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
but
it's a good point. It is.
Yeah.
It is so.
Rounding it out though, Double A. How about those final moments? I mean, now we've fully geeked. We've had a full geekgasm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you know what's about to happen. It's like, wow, now.
Yeah, and then it's like I told you, he does like his return.
Yeah.
When he takes off his helmet.
Right.
Without saying the words of, I want to see you with my own eyes.
Yeah. But Luke's looking on at this moment. Mando removes his helmet, which he doesn't do, in front of his friends now and comrades, and
even though they're not really
looking at him.
It's only Luke that's
and it's really meant for Grogu season.
Yes,
and he touches his face, and someone else someone else I read said Mando hasn't felt anyone's touch since he was a child.
Yeah, yeah.
So the first one to connect with him. So that moment was my moment where I lost my shit and was like, well, now I'm going to bawl like a little girl because I love this shit, man. I love Star Wars. And it was just so moving. And you're just like, what? How beautifully written is this, man?
Yeah,
how
it was great. It was great, yeah.
You don't want to see them split up. It's like totally lone wolf and cub. You totally don't want to see Mando and Grogu, the child, Baby Yoda, separated. But the whole point was for him to get him to someone that could take care of him.
Yeah.
And he never says his name. He never says, I'm Luke Skywalker. Mando asks him, are you a Jedi? He goes, yes, I am. And then he goes, I think he tells me he can take care of him. He can train him. He says talent without training is wasted, I think he says.
Yeah. And Grogu does want to go because he reads his mind, but he goes, he wants your permission though.
Right, he says that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's rough, and it's neat because Luke doesn't think like Ahsoka, who thinks like this could go wrong.
No, because Luke got trained.
Yeah.
Really much older age.
Yeah. And I think he has confidence in his ability, obviously, because he just fucking wrecked shop on these deadly ass dark troopers like it was nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a fully fledged Jedi Master right there, man. And that's how we've always all wanted to see Luke be.
Yes.
So it was very cool,
to
very
actually move
touching.
like Obi-Wan, to move like Anakin, to move like Darth Maul.
Yeah.
We wanted to see that. Yeah.
From saber to force wielding, all of it was excellent.
Yes.
And that's it.
Where do you think it's going to go?
I
think it's going to go to Mandalore. I think now it's going to be between him and Bo-Katan, that whole thing. I think
that does need a resolution for sure. For sure. He doesn't want it. He doesn't care.
But I think that's going to be a big storyline. Obviously, what are they going to do with Gideon?
Mm-hmm.
What that's kind of left open too.
We know Cara wants him. I think you got to show that. I think it also is like, what's next for Din? You know what I mean? For Mando, what does he do next?
That's what I'm saying. I think the Mandalore is going to be really big. I think that's going to be a big deal.
I think that however
he might start fighting the Empire.
Yeah, I think that however they resolve the issue with the Darksaber, I think that she's going to say, he's obviously awesome. She wanted him from the first mission.
Yes.
So it's like, do this, do a worthy cause. You did a worthy cause with him. But here's what I hope, Double A. I hope that it will, and I don't know how much they got to pay Mark Hamill or however they're going to do it to get him to de-age him all the time, but I hope they cut back and forth because Grogu is an essential character of the Mandalorian, and he's a central part of the story, and you need that. And we know we're getting all this 10 other shows, you know what I mean? But people want to see Baby Yoda. They want to see Grogu.
Well, yeah, because now he was just a new character in the Mandalorian, but now it's kind of like, okay, well, now he's getting trained by Luke. But now people are wondering, well, where was he in the sequels?
Right.
Where was he? Was he there with Kylo? Was he there during that whole thing?
Yeah.
The Knights of Ren, did they kill him?
I saw this great meme, and it was the famous scene from Empire Strikes Back where Obi-Wan is saying that boy is our only hope, and Yoda's in that red light saying there is another. And then in the last scene they put Grogu there instead, and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Like, it's almost like, man, is he there for the threat beyond the threat? But I don't know. You're right. Where is he in those new sequels if that's the case? Because you always feel like you should be there where the largest threat is, which was the Emperor and all that. But I don't know. There's always like this side stories, right? Rogue One pretty much is that big old side story about this guy that played a major role in how the destruction happened. Galen Erso. And them even getting the plans, you know what I mean?
That was a huge part.
Jin's role in that. Yeah, it's a huge part. It doesn't work without that. No. So maybe you write a story like that for Grogu. I don't know.
It's interesting though, right? Now the threads that he's leaving behind that now you can connect to here now. Yeah. Now this Thrawn is from Mandalorian, Grogu's from Mandalorian. You got all these new things now that you can feed off from the Mandalorian.
Maybe you have him team up, Grogu and Ahsoka team up. You know what I mean? So, I think there's a lot of possibilities.
It's fun. It's an interesting, fun time right now in Star Wars.
Great time.
And the Mandalorian has just kicked it off. Kicked it off now.
Did you stay for the end credit scene?
Yes, I did. What happened?
I didn't know. So stay for if you're watching the Mandalorian season 2, if we haven't completely ruined it for you, or if you watched it but you didn't see this. There is an end credit scene after a little bit into the credits.
Which brings back another old character of Star Wars.
Return of the Jedi's own Bib Fortuna. Jabba's
big too.
But Jabba's second hand, I guess.
Yeah, his interpreter.
I don't know, but what we find out is that in Jabba's stead, he's been running the show,
and he's put on some weight,
getting fat. Yeah, getting fat, and
they love those blue women.
They love the Twi'leks, man. So he's there, he's talking trash, and who walks in but Boba Fett down the stairs with Fennec, and he's like, Boba, I heard stories you were alive, you know, blah blah. So what we learn is that Boba Fett returns with Fennec to Tatooine, to Jabba's palace, and there he's like, I'm gonna
he doesn't waste much words.
Nope. Goes ahead and ends Bib Fortuna's story 38,
that's the way it
35 years later. Blasts him, boom, off of Jabba's throne.
Just throws his body off.
Shoves his body off. Fennec releases the Twi'lek dancer, and we get a new guy on the throne.
He sits on the throne.
Boba Fett.
The book of Boba Fett.
The book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
We've already confirmed from John Favreau and Dave Filoni.
That's coming next year.
A separate story. It is not going to be The Mandalorian Season 3. It's a separate series and story from... There will still be a Mandalorian Season 3. And huge name involved in that, Robert Rodriguez, who we love, San Antonio native, out of Austin now, Troublemaker Studios, obviously directed a huge Boba Fett episode in an amazing fashion, turned me into a fan, without me even knowing that he directed it until I saw the end credits, and I was like, holy shit. So, very, very badass, lots of good shit to look forward to. The Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3.
December
Ahsoka,
of this year.
Yeah, the Ahsoka series. All this stuff, guys. Disney Plus rocking and rolling big time.
I'm excited. If it was because of the Mandalorian, I'm excited, and I love the show even more. If it's because
if they weren't doing any other shows at all, and it was going to just be Mandalorian Season 3, still all in.
You know,
this is the best shit I've seen in a long time.
I told my brother too. I was like, I could care less if they even do another movie, another trilogy.
Nope.
I could care less because we got all these things now.
Yeah, totally, man. I am 100% invested in the Mandalorian and the show.
Obi-Wan that's
the
coming
new character.
up.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be great.
With Hayden Christensen too.
Yeah. But I almost feel as though like we waited so long for that and we weren't sure that. You know, if we never got it, I'm okay with it because this is just as good.
This is good.
You know what I mean? And you can almost be like, I love how they peppered in so much stuff.
Which
you can keep doing that.
Keep bringing out the shit that they didn't want to make canon. Mm-hmm. Those are all good stories. Mm-hmm. You know, stop saying it's not canon. It is good. There's good shit there.
Go to Mandalore, address these things, bring back Katie Sackhoff, bring back everybody.
Thrawn was a part of that whole, oh no, we're not going to there. You know, that's not our canon.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Your fucking show sucked.
Yeah.
You know, your writing sucked.
Yeah.
So we got to bring some of this old canon stuff back into canon.
And it seems interesting too to me, AA, that they're telling you like these are the timelines it occurs in. Like this is in the Mandalorian time. So it's almost like you're letting me know that there may be some overlap.
Exactly.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. So I'm all in for it. All things Star Wars are 100% gold to me.
Always.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But shit, it was a hell of a season, a hell of a show.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just...
The only thing about binge watching is just like you watch it one day and you're just like, shit, I have to wait a whole nother year for it. That's the only thing about that, you know?
I watched every episode this season twice, AA, for me. So, and I've watched that end scene a couple of times already. But guys, anything else, AA? Final thoughts?
Just watch The Mandalorian and just keep hoping that they keep busting out this kind of quality for Star Wars, you know.
I think if you don't like Star Wars, it can make you a Star Wars fan. It's like a space western, man. I can't say that enough, and it kicks major ass. It kicks major ass.
It really does.
So, guys, for myself, CM Chuck, and my partner here,
AA, Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, guys. 2021 is here. Hopefully the dark times, as they say, are over, and the empire is over of 2020. And now we can look forward to a brighter new...
We're going to try and bring you some exciting content, guys. So.
Yeah, it's going to be good. You're going to see some new things, some new changes. And, of course, guys, we are always open to any and all of your suggestions, comments, topics, anything like that. Write into us. Remember, we're on Instagram at JAFN Podcast. We're on Twitter at JAFN Podcast. We're on TikTok at JAFN Podcast. We are... here, just another Friday night on Facebook. Join our Facebook group and join the conversation with all of us nerds and geeks or whatever you want to call yourself about all things pop culture in the Friday Night Faithful. It's called the Friday Night Faithful. You are a Friday Nighter if you're in the Friday Night Faithful, and even if you're not sometimes. So come on in there, guys. Stay safe out there. Be safe. And before we go, we always like to say something. If there's something that you aspire to do, a hope, a dream that you have, seize the day. No day like today to do it, guys. It's the first day of a brand new year. It's January 1,
resolution.
2021. Yeah, do it. It's now is the time. The time is right now. You're thinking
about losing weight. Forget about not drinking. You know what? Just seize your day. Seize your moment.
Whenever it comes.
To live. Make your mark in history.
Totally. And when you got to do that, it's going to take sometimes more than you might expect. Yeah. So you got to do whatever it takes, guys. You got to get a business loan. You got to get a driver's license. You got to get, whatever it is. You got to go get a membership at a fitness club. Go do it. Do whatever it is that it takes to get to where you're going, guys. For myself, CM Chuck, and for Double A, Adam. This has been just another Friday night, January 1st, 2021 edition, The Mandalorian Season 2, guys. Go watch it. All right, we're out of here.